And we're live. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. This is the Summer Namm Wrap Up. And in the house today, we got all the folks that I was hanging out with at Namm. So I'm going to start with Marty Stewart. Hey, Bryan, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Awesome, buddy. And my personal chauffeur the whole time I was there. We'll get into that. Bryan Cote, how's it going?
Good.
Made it.
Survived.
We got Matt Harrison, who we ran into there at least a couple of times. So Matt was there. How's it going, Matt?
What's happening, y'all?
And I also invited Eric from EVH and Gear TV because Eric was personally responsible for both myself and actually Bryan being there. So I wanted to bring him in on this just as a thanks and just to share the show with us. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure. The honor. It's an extreme honor. It's nice to be back on your show. Thank you so much for the invitation, and happy to be with these fine people here today.
No worries. And as I said that, I just realized that I forgot to put all your guys' channels in the links.
That's okay.
But I swear I will do that. I will do that. Once we're done, I'll throw all your channels in the links.
Yeah.
And folks, everybody in here has a channel. These guys are all phenomenal. They're all part of the guitar community. And I will throw links in if you want to check back and make sure you sub to their channels because they're absolutely fantastic. So in the meantime, oh my God, we got 26 people in here already. You guys are absolutely amazing. So let me just start at the top here and greet everybody, and then we'll get going. We'll start talking about what we experienced there. So we got the Dogpas in here. Fred Fritsch is in here. How are you? Music Therapy Laz. Nice to see you. Mark Wade, time has been kind. How's it going, buddy? Hey, Mitch Heyman, nice to see you. Bill Frost, Vincent Wiener. Okay, Joe Hervey, 84. Spencer Cron. Oh, man, okay. Rookie mistake. I'm still a rookie a year later, right?
Count. There's one.
Yeah, I just lost one there. Joe Hervey. Bobby Lopez is in here. James Severin is in here. I Rock the Blues. How's it going? There she is. There's Butterfly and Ladybug Show. Thank you so much for being here. James Wright, nice to see you. David Ozab, hey, man. Jamal is in here. Broxel is in here. Okay, guys, Quentin is in here. Man, I don't think I've done this with
Oh, boy.
This is going to blow the speakers.
Headphone alert. Headphone alert.
Quentin's computer. Okay, but we got to do this on the count of three. We're going to yell Quentin. Ready?
On three? On three or on three?
After. Why you got to confuse it, buddy? Come on now. 1, 2, 3.
Quentin.
There you go. Awesome. Dan of New Jersey, Brian Bond, nice to see you. There's Bam Ozzy. Will Varella's here. Hey, man. Michael Bennett. Wow. Half Ace, nice to see you. Folks, if you've got questions for myself or anyone in the panel, just please tag us, and hopefully we will catch it. If not myself, have you guys got the chat open?
Yep.
All right. If you guys see anything, just don't.
I'm in the chat.
Man. Jump on. Feel free. So I don't know where to start, man. Oh my God.
Hey, everybody in the chat that said hi to me.
I don't know where to start. Joe
Bonamassa.
Start.
I'm just
going down. Start on your trip down.
How about all the crap that happened? Because, like you said, all the shit that went down before, almost derailed it, and it got better after. Talk about that.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you my situation. So this trip almost didn't happen. Like, it was basically, it looked like Friday of the week before that I wasn't going to make it at all because something happened, transpired, and then, it's things out of your control, so to speak. And if it wasn't for my wife stepping up and saying, you're going to go, I'm going to drive down there. And then it was going to be like, she was going to drive and meet me down there and I was going to fly. And then it turned out, my wife driving all the way to the U.S., never, driven those highways or those roads. I'd be a basket case till she arrived, right? So, I mean, I've been, anyway, so I said, there's no way in hell. So we went together. So we drove down together. It took us 15 hours to get down there. we had major traffic jams. We actually pulled out for gas in Kentucky and got rear-ended. I kid you not.
No way.
And I actually guessed that's where you got rear-ended.
Yeah, it was in Kentucky.
Is that a Kentucky thing? I don't know.
Yeah. So fortunately, nobody got hurt. It was very minor, and then we pulled. It's like I was saying to you guys off air. It's like all the indicators were like, you should not go on this trip. It's like all the karma was against me, right? But I'm telling you, man. And then we get there, and then we get to the hotel. It was like 2 a.m. we checked in or something. The next morning we get up, and then I had the Uber app, and I'm trying to get an Uber to get to downtown, and it just kept saying, I don't know what something on the screen, like we're still looking. Like 20 minutes go by, and I'm like, no, I can't even get there, right? So I tell you, man, I get on there, and then Marty Stewart, I think he sent me a message or something, and then I'm like, I said, are you driving? And then he asked me the magic words, do you need a ride? I'm like, oh, goddamn, yes. That was it. And I tell you, man, that one sentence took that whole negative, crappy getting down there, and it just flipped it on its head. Marty Stewart absolutely turned this from lemons to lemonade, man. After that, it was, I got to tell you, probably some of the 3 best days of my entire life were spent at NAMM. It was like so worth it. Thank God I went through all that shit and I got my ass down there because it was absolutely phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
It was fun.
That's great.
Such a good time, man.
It's like I said to you off the air, you're like going to a gig. It's best to break down, get all the stuff, lose your gear, find your gear, overbook, double book, get all that out of the way before you get there. Then you get there and everything is smooth sailing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's giving me all this credit. All I did was drive to the exact same place I was already going to drive to, whether he was in the car or not.
But still, you got him there. That helps tremendously. I got to say one thing about Uber. I heard on the radio today that we should all remember this for next time we take Ubers. I listened to Detroit radio, and somebody was taking an Uber from point A to point B, and husband and wife in the back seat, and they were snacking on some Skittles, and the husband spilt the girl's Skittles, and there's a few of them that spilt on the floor. After their ride, they got a cleaning bill for $100 sent to them for picking up these Skittles in the car.
Holy Jesus.
Oh my God.
I guess there are, like, if you make a mess a little bit, that's a little bit absurd, but still. Crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
Totally.
There's a upcharge.
I used Uber all week.
In a limousine, but it's usually not for Skittles.
Yeah, you got stories about that.
Yeah.
You have to use black lights to find the stuff that's.
Yeah, you don't want a black light in the back of your limousine. You would get in it. You would not get in it.
Look, mommy stars.
Oh Lord. So Brian, how was it? How was it for you getting down there?
It was pretty easy. Yeah, well, it wasn't a piece of cake because I hit a couple of the same jams that you did, but I have in-laws that live just across the river from Louisville in Indiana, so I'm used to driving that route, and I knew how to get off the interstate onto the little country road and go around the 1-hour traffic jam that just was sitting there, so it wasn't too bad for me. So I got down before you guys did because it's only 6 hours for me, right? I think it took me 6.5, something like that. So I went out and got a steak dinner the night before and a good night's sleep. And I was literally getting to walk out the door when I had got your messages. I think I messaged you the night before. It's like, where you guys at? What time you getting in, right? And you hit me up and said, hey, are you getting ready to drive? I said, yeah, I had just done a live chat too. I'm heading out the door. And I was like, where are you at?
Yeah.
And you were like 15 minutes from me. And I was like, all right, I'll be there in 20. So it worked out perfect.
I was, and then when I went into NAMM, and you go to the line up, and they're like, and then there was a problem with my pass. I'm like, oh, here we go. No,
no.
I'm telling you, man, it's like they finally figured it out. I'm like,
I didn't get that.
Got your pass like right away, and you're like, you don't get your pass yet? I'm like, no, man.
Tell that story because I wasn't in on that because I had to go to a different place because my badge was a different kind of badge to get mine, and so I missed out on what happened with you and Queen Bee getting your badges.
Well, we went in one line, and then they try to hook, punch it in, and you guys aren't registered or something. And I'm like, what?
Oh, I about died.
Oh man, on top of everything else. And then we went into another line, and it's like, and then I don't know, all of a sudden they kind of figured it out, and then, they had to manually do the badge thing and whatever. And it's like, oh God. We finally got in.
Well, it's like last year, Winter Nam, same thing happened to me. I got up there, Junior and I were there. We were there with two companies. We were there with EVH, Fender, and of course, Yamaha. And I did want to actually have two badges because when I went into one booth, I wanted to wear the booth to reflect who I'm there with, switch passes after. And they were like, what do we do? What do we do? How do we print these? How do we, they couldn't figure out how to print two badges. They did figure it out, but it's almost like for a few minutes there, it was a complete scramble. I was just going to say, no, just give me one or the other. I don't care. But they worked it out.
Just get me in.
Yeah.
Just get me in. Yeah. All right. And so for the purposes of this and to make it go smooth, because we have two Bryans, I'm going to refer to Bryan Cote as Cote. So Cote, how was it getting down there for you?
It was the opposite as you.
Probably. Everything was so smooth.
Yeah, I drove my truck to this place called Park and Fly, and they took my truck and parked it and put me on a little bus and brought me to the airport. And I got on a plane, and 2 hours later, I got to the hotel, and then I walked across the street to Namm.
Yeah, that was
so it was kind of
my experience. That's good.
The opposite.
It was total opposite. That's good.
I had to do it that way because I was living up to my pretentious, reputation.
Yeah. Well, plus
so I had to go that way.
The whole thing anyway, so it cost you a dime.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I had to sell a lung.
Oh God. Yeah.
Jeez. What about you, Matt?
Basically, I drove up from Atlanta on because I live in Atlanta currently. I drove up from Atlanta on Wednesday night, and I dropped my wife off at my in-laws' house. And then I went to my mom's house, stayed, and that was pretty much it. I mean, I got there the next day, and I got I parked, and then I walked to the convention center, and then I got my pass, which was actually pretty easy because I'm kind of the way I did it was, it's like if you want to go bad enough, then you'll find a way to go. So I kind of used the house of worship type of route into getting my pass, and kind of got my own pass into Namm, and just went and got it and picked it up. It was smooth as silk. It was great. So
nice, man.
I probably had the easiest trek of anybody just because I live there. So I probably wouldn't have as easy of a trek if it was winter Namm, but summer Namm is right in my backyard, so it was easy.
You realize you're going to go to hell for that, right?
Hey, I'm a member of that church. You can take a look.
Okay.
I'm a member of that church. I might not run live sound at that church, but I'm a member.
That's great.
I'm sure Hale's on all of our GPSs at some point.
Hey, if the Namm police ask, don't tell them no different.
Right.
Okay, I run live sound at the Greenville United Methodist Church in Jolton, Tennessee. All right.
I saw Heaven and Hell both in Nashville. We saw Heaven inside Carter's Guitars, and we saw Hell when we waited for the same damn train 2 days in a row, the same run at the same time of day. I was like, is this a daily occurrence? Because I would not go home from work this way. This train was like pretty long, man.
So you were there on the first day then, Matt? On the Thursday you were there?
Correct. Yep.
All right. So
that's when I saw you.
You saw me on a Thursday, and then I saw you the next day. So I saw you both days. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. I did.
So how was the Thursday for? How would you guys? Let's just go like the Thursday. The first. What are your first impressions walking in, man? What are your first impressions walking in?
I went last year to the public day, so I kind of knew what to expect. But the Gibson booth really was the big deal this year. I mean, they had one that was about half the size of that last year. It was set up similar, but this year they just went all out. I mean, it seemed like they were really had something to prove. And I'm sure I think they did something similar at Winter Namm, but the Gibson booth was just huge and immaculate. And of course, the Fender booth's always like a fortress that you walk through, you know. But
it's more like a museum than a booth.
Exactly, because it's not really friendly to players at all.
Fortress was a good way to put it.
You know,
it's like a vault.
Yeah, it is. It's like a museum, and you know, I didn't even see anywhere to plug in anything. They had all the new pedals, and there's some. That's actually something on my list is some of the new pedals look really cool, but there's nowhere to plug them in. You got to like get a rep and get a demo license or something. I don't know what you got to do to play something in that thing.
They didn't want you to play anything. That was the impression I got.
I think so. But yeah, the Gibson booth was big. You know, I liked some of the smaller people I saw there that were really cool. And there were a couple of people that I knew from last year that I talked to that were cool. Like a guy named Israel from Puritan Amps. He makes a little hand wired amp that's kind of similar to a Tweed type thing or a Supro. And he was there. I talked to him, and then Bryan Nutter, of course, from Nutter Guitars and Texas Toast. But and Vincent Moretti from Signum Cables. He's a guy that he actually does the moderating of the Tone Talk chat, and he was there.
Love that Tone Talk chat.
Yeah, the Vincent Moretti. I talked to him. He was actually the first person I talked to, and kind of was like, "Hey, man, I know you from the Tone Talk, chat," and he was totally cool, of course, just like everybody. But Summer NAMM's cool. It's definitely it's quaint. You go in there and you can pretty much see everything in a day. So if you got 3 days, you can it kind of lends itself to building relationships and to networking more, because you're not spending your whole time trying to see everything. It's more like, hey, I really like this, or I'm really interested in this, what this guy's got. And, you can kind of, spend an hour talking to somebody if they have the time, It's a good thing. It's great. So
I just popped looking at the chat here. 2 3/4 Jams has got a cool question. Guitar Hack, if you had $3,000 to blow what from being at NAMM would you buy? Well, 3,000. Well, I'll put that to everybody. So, well, 3,000.
Yeah,
I was going to say that ain't that. So it's not enough money, buddy.
Anything?
Yeah, I can't buy nothing for $3,000.
We saw that we want.
Yeah, double that, and then we'll talk.
That 3,000's about a down payment on a Framus.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. What about you, Bryan Cote? What was your first impressions walking in that first day, man?
I thought it was I thought it would be a little bigger than it was. I wasn't surprised it would be a smaller event than the Winter NAMM, but I thought it would be probably a little bigger. And some of the companies, like Marty Stewart had mentioned in some of his videos that weren't there, were kind of surprising, like PRS and Ibanez were not there, which was kind of weird. But overall, it was, I don't know, but I liked it that way. The first 2 days, I really kind of just walked around, observed, had a quick look at everything, got a lay of the land and everything, and got to speak to a lot of people. And on Saturday, I wasn't planning on going back Saturday, but there wasn't much going on, and my wife hadn't gone in because it wasn't public for those first 2 days. So I said, well, let's go and I'll show you what it's all about and stuff. And we went in, and then I was able to really dial in and go talk to some people that I had seen previous 2 days that I really didn't get a chance to talk to, and shot a few videos on that day and did a couple of interviews, and I met, the Tone King and some people that I hadn't seen yet and had some conversations with them. So Saturday was more of a day to kind of take everything that I have gathered the first 2 days and put it all together and start to really focus in on some key areas that I really wanted to go to. And I did get to see, like, I was really looking forward to trying out the Eastman guitars, because we don't have them around here. So I got a chance to do that. They were there. They've got some really nice instruments. And of course, I spent a ton of time at the Gibson booth, and I thought that was an awesome booth and an awesome event. And they treated us so well, Gibson. I mean, you walked in there and talking to people, they're very friendly. And going to that event on Thursday was a highlight of my NAMM. I think it was just so cool to be there, and the way they treated us was, it's fantastic. It was awesome to me. And so people ask me a few times, are you going to buy that Eastman or the R6? Because everybody think, I've spoken about that, right? And I think it's R6 all the way.
Yeah,
right?
I
just even though it's more money.
We had that discussion.
yeah, right.
Before I get to Bryan, let me just we got a whole whacking more people that came in the chat, so let me just say hello. And if I repeat your name, I apologize. But Jeff Miller's in here. ChickNGuitars, hey sweetheart, how are you? James Severin is here. James Severin, you're a star on Gibson Custom Promo. Buddy, that was a complete fluke. I'll get into that. That was a complete fluke. 2 and 3 chord jams. Charles Green, how's it going? Will Varela, Gary Tholander, JJ Collins. Man, we got so many. We got 62 in here, folks. Bam Ozzy, welcome, man. Charles Green, Marsman, Charlie S. Dale Palmer, how's it going, buddy? Oh my God, we got so many folks in here. Leno's Guitar Daddy, nice to see ya. Ron Limber, how are you? I'm probably gonna miss some people. Jasco Plumbing Supply, how's it going? Mitch Heyman, Queen Bee is in here. Hey, Queen Bee. Okay. R2R3, hey man. How's it going? Phil Mosley's in here. Metalhead Hippie, nice to see you. Fred Fritch, I'm probably repeating names. John's Tropical Reflections. Wow. Thank you all so much for coming on and checking out the show, folks. Mark Taylor is here. All right, just seeing if Ivan Carter is here. HK is in here. Thanks for that. That was a nice to say, HK. How are? Thank you so much. Wow. Janice is in here. Sorry if I missed you, folks. Dan in New Jersey is in here. Harmony is in here. Justin Cox in Utah. Okay, I'm at the bottom. If there's Barefoot Mode. If I've missed anybody, just please tag me and I'll see you right away. So, Bryan Stewart, what'd you think your first day walking in, man?
Well, first off, I got to answer some of these things I've seen in the chat. First off, Queen Bee, you're welcome. James asked me about the classic. It's awesome. Jamal wanted to know about the bongo solo. We'll get to the bongo solo and how I almost got kicked out of the Hutton Hotel over the bongo solo. We'll get to that in a minute. So Justin from Utah asked what NAMM stands for. It stands for the National Association of Music Merchants, which none of us are.
We snuck in the back.
Oh, it came in through the fire escape.
Yeah.
I had buyer on my tag, so they were all talking to me when I went to their booth.
They like you.
Yeah.
Definitely. They let you pick up whatever you wanted. Well, we pretty much picked up whatever we wanted everywhere we went, except for just in Fender, and that's just because you couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, we would have.
I didn't want to anyway.
Well, my first impression was when we first walked in, I was like, they got really good air conditioning in the convention center because it was hot. It was already hot and muggy in the morning when we got there. I got a frog in my throat. And but I knew it was going to be smaller than the Winter NAMM, which I've never been to, and I'll probably never go to because it's on the other side of the planet and it would cost a fortune, and I don't need to go out there and see all that. I can watch the videos. So I had just been to Gear Fest the previous month in June, at Sweetwater and Fort Wayne, which is a lot closer to my house. So there were some things that I wanted to see at NAMM. I wasn't really concerned about the size or all that stuff. Most of what we saw, I already saw a month ago. There was a couple of products or manufacturers in particular, Friedman guitars and amplifiers, that I was looking forward to trying some amps out, and they didn't have, they weren't there. So I didn't get to do that. Ibanez was another one of the companies. They had a couple of guitars that I really want to try out that were not at Gear Fest. They weren't there either. So those were the two things I was like, but I saw a bunch of stuff that I thought was pretty neat that I didn't see at Sweetwater. That's kind of the little video I put up, just a drive-by of my greatest hits. I tried to put the things in there that I hadn't already seen before. So I was happy with it. But for me going down there, it was more about trying to meet up with the people, right?
Mm.
Phil, bless his heart. I got to give Phil a shout out. He's the one who got me passed to get in there. And technically I was on his crew, but he wasn't really there shooting video or any of that kind of stuff. I think he put up something with Marty Music. Marty Music put up something with him, but he wasn't there to shoot gear videos and that kind of stuff because, you know, he was at, you know, he can do that at the Winter NAMM. It's a lot closer to him and a lot more to see. But yeah, I was happy with what we got to see. I thought it was a lot of fun. The Gibson exhibit was, like Matt said, I think it was the highlight of the show probably for just about everybody.
Yeah.
And the access that they gave us, especially to the custom shop stuff. My favorite guitar was back there, that Brian Ray SG Jr. that we saw was pretty neat. But everybody was so nice. All the Gibson people were very nice. Everybody was really nice. You know, everybody we talked to was cool. I liked seeing some of the things that you can't see other places. Like we saw those Serengeti guitars.
Yeah.
Where are you going to see that at? You're not going to see that at Guitar Center. You're not going to see the Framus guitars, you know, around where you can go put your hands on them. So that kind of stuff was what impressed me. But for me, the most fun was just meeting you guys and meeting Phil and meeting some of the other YouTubers and talking to the people. That's what I had fun doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, when I got there, after I got my pass, I was able to walk in. I was like, I don't know how to put it, man. It's like, have you ever seen that movie, Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
Like, the original with Gene Wilder or the other one with Gene Wilder.
Yeah. And I was like a kid in a candy store, man. I'm like, I can't believe. And then when I saw the Gibson booth, man, my eyes just came like 6 inches out of my face. It's like, oh my God, this is insane. And then it was funny was we immediately took it over. The three of us, like, we immediately took over like a section of right in the back. The
custom shop. We took over the custom shop.
We took it over, man. We took all their chairs.
Yeah, I know. Right?
My video, man. That was hilarious.
That was great.
You know, and just looking at all the guitars and grabbing them and this and that. I mean, it was sick, man. It was sick. You know, and you know, outside, and then walking in, and there's JC, you know, walking around, and I immediately met JC, and I think you did too, Brian.
Yeah, I met JC and Mark both. They were both super.
Mark Ignacy was there
for a minute or two, not like you did, but I mean, I spoke to both of them. I joked with Mark a little bit, and he thought it was he chuckled. What I said to him, he thought was so. I don't know. I can repeat it on here now. You might get a bunch of thumbs down.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. And like I said, the thing was like the access, man. Like they let you play anything you wanted. They had a Magnatone amp set up in the back, so you can plug in any custom shop guitar and you can play it. And then along the where they had the Kramers, where the long table with all the Kramers. I don't know if they had that underneath the Epiphone table as well. I'm not sure.
They did, yeah. They had those Boss katanas with
they had those katanas all underneath, and you could plug in and you could play them like, you know, through the speaker. And they had a headphone at every single one, so you could put headphones on and play them. You know, it's just like they're all about player stuff. Check it out. All the, you know, the acoustic line was out there. Everything was like player stuff, you know. And then they had live music. There was a stage, and there was always something going on that stage. The whole time we were there, there was somebody up there playing something. You know?
Yeah, I probably played more guitars at the Gibson booth than I did anywhere. I mean,
same here.
I played a lot there. You know, it was great.
Yeah,
I have to say the same thing too for Winter NAMM. I went to quite a few booths, but the Gibson booth, they were away for a year. They took a year off, went to CES the year before,
right?
And which was kind of a shocker of the industry. But I don't usually play guitars at NAMM. I'm usually there for filming and things like that, and I don't like to play anyways when I'm there. Just for, you know, just everyone's playing, right? But the Gibson booth, if you think it was big at Summer NAMM, you should have seen. It was like Gibson. The booth at Winter NAMM was like a small Canadian city. It was that. It was like just insane. But just like you said, though, inviting to play, the katanas underneath, headphones, the whole same thing. You wanted to pick up a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000 guitar, plug it, play. It was there, you know. probably a lot of fingerprints and a lot of germs and disease, but still there for you to play.
Yeah, I mean, it was so interactive, right? It was like, you know what I mean? They were like literally bringing you in, you know.
Yeah, there was nobody was poo-pooing anything. I mean, there was no, hey, you can't do this, don't touch that, anything like that. It was all, you know, hey, go for it. You know,
it was all fair game. Yeah. I mean, they had a wall of custom shop guitars, man, and an amp.
Yeah, and that's when we get to our top list, you'll see people will see exactly how open access it was, because I got some good stuff on my list.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, well, what else did we check out? We went to the should we talk about Fender since we're talking about Gibson?
Sure.
Why not?
So we walked into the Fender. How long did we last in the Fender booth, guys?
5 minutes.
Yeah, about
10 minutes.
Well, you couldn't touch anything.
Couldn't touch anything.
What's the point? They had literally the stuff you really wanted to pick up, which we just got done picking up all the custom shop guitars in Gibson. And like he said, we sat down in the corner and did, how long did we do a live chat on 15 minutes?
Two of them. So altogether, it's probably 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
This is how bad it was.
And so not only are we doing a live chat, we're picking up guitars and plugging them in during the live chat and, you know, changing guitars out. And we get up and we walk over to Fender. We probably would have done the exact same thing over there, except when we got in there, they were roped off and chained to the wall. You couldn't even touch them, let alone play them.
Yeah.
So, and then they had like they had them. They had the signature model. I can't remember the other two, but the Jimmy Page. It was not only was it behind a velvet rope, but on a glass case.
Yeah.
Really?
What, are you gonna sneeze on it? Is it a sour bar?
Yeah.
You know, you the only thing you were allowed to play at Gibson, or sorry, at Fender, was the Squires you could grab, and the Venturas I think you could grab.
Yeah.
But anything custom shop was behind a velvet rope, man.
In Fender's defense, so I don't want to be the guy to be the defender of Fender.
No, go for it.
I'm still within the family there, but they were probably understaffed for Summer NAMM. They don't usually do a big presence at Summer NAMM. And even the year before, Summer NAMM 2018, they had like one left-handed EVH guitar, and they had one other thing for the EVH product, a couple Charvels. They don't really bring a big presence. Yeah. So they were
the exact opposite for the Fender, for the EVH and Charvel stuff.
Yeah, the EVH, they actually had their own room, Eric.
No, I know. I saw it. Yeah. But I think still nice. They still were a little short-staffed. So that's probably the reason, because at Winter NAMM, I picked up, like, not that I played, but I picked up just about any Fender guitar I wanted. I was there for only probably 15, 20 minutes, but I was grabbing anything. There was no problem. So,
well, it is Gibson's hometown, more or less. You got Gibson's got the advantage on that deal, right?
Yeah.
So let me just say hello to a few more people that popped in. Mute That Bozo is here. Daniel Horsley, welcome. All right.
The only thing you couldn't touch, or you could touch it, the only thing you couldn't pick up and play was the 1979 EVH relic guitar that just came out.
The Bumblebee.
Right?
Yeah, the Bumblebee. Yeah.
When you could touch it, it was hooked, you know, to the hanger. You couldn't take it down and play it. Mm-hmm. And I can understand that it was a $25,000. I think it was $25,000 or something.
Yeah, same.
So, and they probably aren't going to make a lot of them. That one. Going to get sold to somebody.
Really, they're already sold.
Well, they're sold usually at NAMM. What happens with NAMM? That's like people go back and talk about National Association of Music Merchants.
Yeah,
these big places like the Sam Ashes, they
buy stuff.
Yeah, all those guys are there. They do their biggest volume. Like look at back on. I'm not sure if you saw my show a long time ago. I did with Gary Kramer, but back in the 70s when they're going to NAMM, they were doing like $500,000 of sales on the NAMM floor. That's back in the 70s. So big chains come in. And they do all their business. That's why sometimes, sadly, as much as us little guys, I'm putting, all of us into a circle, we're little guys compared to the Sam Ashes and the guitars.
Totally.
So they don't mean to push us aside, but the wallet does dictate.
Yeah.
Well,
that kind of
Guitar Center
about buying one VOS Les Paul.
Yeah.
Sam Esch is there thinking about buying 200 of them.
Well,
Yeah.
Guitar Center in Nashville bought the whole wall of custom shops that was there. All going to the Guitar Center in Nashville. That's what the guy told me.
Brian Ray's ending up then, huh? That's
That
going
whole wall
The
was
whole
that whole wall was spoken for.
You
Yeah.
could tell
Yeah.
tell a big difference between the buyers, the actual buyers, like the guitar store owners and stuff, and us. You know, people like
Yeah.
us. You know, there was just a different demeanor and a different amount of attention given to them. And
well, they're not walking
yeah.
around like we were
like
going, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Another way to tell the difference between a buyer and us, we're always reaching in our back pocket, especially us Canadians, to see if our wallet is still there. The buyers don't travel with a wallet; they just travel with their okay, I know you're good for it. We're good. You know?
Yeah.
It was hard not to go fanboy, but I mean, I know I
Hey,
did.
listen to Morning.
It was so hard not to go fanboy.
I know I went fanboy a few times. Gary Tholander's asking if I played any Kramers. I played a lot of Kramers.
Like the whole rack of them.
They were great.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what, man? I'm telling you, like, there was one Kramer. I don't know. Well, you remember Bryan, the white one? I love that guitar. That guitar
I
was
like the purple one that was right next to it.
Yeah, man.
There was only one I didn't like was the one with the non-locking trim. I liked it. It played good, but it came all out of tune.
That's your entry level. Yeah, that's your entry level series. But as Hack, you've commented on mine all the time, my Vintage Pacer Deluxe, which is they're discontinued now, but you've always commented on that guitar. They're Pacers now. They're Berettas, the Night Swan, and the Jersey Star. The Night Swan and the Jersey Star are going to be their biggest sellers this year for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing's
changed
the
since
one pickup Kramer with the lock and trim that it's on my list. It's a great guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of them play great. It's just, if you want to have a trim, you need a lock and nut. Unless you're doing the Wilkinson thing, that's a lock. And
Oh
nut.
yeah, no, you want that for sure.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
Okay, so since we're talking about Kramer, so a couple of people were asking me while I was, before I went and asked for some questions, and people were asking me about Kramer and when they would be available and what the price point was. And specifically, I think the guitar they were asking about was the Night Swan. So from the horse's mouth, it's going to be in the $900 range. Obviously, that's US money. And they're talking about, and he could not find an exact date. The best he could tell me was 2 months.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
They were shooting for May, because I had Elgin on the show when we released for Winter Namm. It was exclusive for Winter Namm. It was supposed to be May, but obviously, what I think is happening right now, and this is a good thing, that the orders are over. They didn't anticipate the amount of people that were going to be purchasing, which is a great thing. So they're a little bit behind, but I think they've overshot now. So you're probably looking at September, October, but I don't want to commit to that either.
Yeah, nobody could give me a hard date, and I know I asked one, maybe, well, definitely. I think I probably asked a couple of, and nobody wanted to commit. And I had one guy even looking on his phone and seeing if there was any bulletins or whatever. And it's like, the best I can find is like 2 months.
I got the impression that they're gonna put some focus back on the brand, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I also got the impression that the reason they're not hitting the streets just yet is they want them to be right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I recommend everybody in the chat and everybody watching go play one.
If you get the chance, when they come out.
Whenever they come out and hit the stores, go play one, because man, I'm not sure what the map is on them yet, but you'll be surprised and impressed, because I loved them.
I think they're going to compete maybe with the EVH guitars a little bit, the new one, the 5150 styles, or the lower priced Wolfgang guitars maybe, or the Stripe series. Or I do like the neck. We played all those. The necks on all those EVH guitars are great, man. The lack of finish.
We'll get into the AVHs in a second, but that was day 2. But yeah. But the
I'm
one
thinking about the two brands and how they were kind of lining up with each other. What we saw.
The other thing too I wanted to mention is Queen Bee did some investigative research, on her own, and she talked to some of the Gibson employees, the guys, because they had guys demoing like binding and doing the inlays and a few different things, and she actually was talking to some of them and trying to get the vibe from the employees about, how does it feel to work at Gibson now, and the stories that she was telling me, and I was talking to remember that gentleman sitting there with us at the event?
Yeah, we met him on the first day, and then that evening at the Gibson party, he was sitting at our table, and we got to talk to him for a while, and he was super nice. And then we talked to him again the second day. We went back, we're like, hey, we're like on a first name basis at that point. We went back to talk to him again. He's been there 30 years.
There's a whole, like, from what he was saying, there's a whole different culture change within the company, because they went from thinking like going to work and thinking this could be their last day, under the old management, and now they're like reborn, man. It's like the whole company, the atmosphere, everything has changed. Like they're on a positive now. Like they really feel good about the new management. They really feel good about where they're going, and that
the hype is real.
Yeah, and when we walk the plant too, and we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Like you can see, like just the vibe in the plant. Like everybody's happy to be there, and you know what I mean. It's if it was bad before, and I don't know, I can sort of speak for them because they're telling me this, but now it's like totally gone 180 degrees. So they're all much happier, and they really love the new direction of the company, which is great for us being, Gibson addicts. So,
yeah, that's definitely the case. I went to visit the Ryman on Sunday, right? Because I was there on Sunday, and it's funny, the guy that was working security as you walk in to do the tours, we did a backstage tour thing of the Ryman on Sunday, and he's an employee of Gibson, and I had a Fender shirt on, and I walked through and he said, we're going to have a problem, buddy. And I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? Right. And he said, that Fender shirt's got to go. And then we started talking, but yeah, he's an employee of Gibson. And we had probably like a 15-minute discussion before the thing opened and stuff. And he said, it's a totally different atmosphere at Gibson now. Yeah. People come in with a smile. They're very proud to be there. There's no more of this, this disconnect between management and employees. Everybody seems to be a big family. There's, the issues that we're having before. He did mention one thing though that I laughed at. He's there. We only got to figure out a little bit what to do with this Mark Ignacy guy. He made a joke about it, and he says he'll find his place. They're all freaked out about this video, and he was laughing about it with me. But he said it's a totally different environment now for sure.
Second, maybe out there, you're back.
Well, sad thing was with that, Mark was just reading a teleprompter. That's not his fault.
Yeah, he didn't.
I know, right?
He couldn't have been any nicer if he tried when we talked to him.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
I talked to him for, 3 or 4 minutes and got a picture with him at NAMM. And then I talked to him again at the party. And he was super nice both times. So, of course, that's his job. He's the director of brand experience. They're not going to hire a guy that can't be nice to people.
Yeah,
he's a complete asshole.
Yeah, so
you're
not going to hire that guy, right?
I don't know what Brian's saying. Happy employees equal a good product.
Absolutely.
If everybody's happy and behind what they're doing, it's they're just going to make a good product. They take pride in what they do, and if they believe in the company, it's good for everybody.
Yeah,
that's why I think they're so well under their umbrella, because Eljan, he's one of the seniors when it comes to the marketing team over there, and he owns dozens of Kramers, loves them, played them since the 80s, and he just happens to be on the staff that does a lot of the promotion. I swear to God that brand is going to do very, very well under their umbrella for sure.
I think so.
He's a great guy. I had a nice conversation with him on Saturday as well, and super guy. He was so nice, and he knew like who I was and knew about the channel. It was like, oh my God, how the hell? Oh yeah, I looked you up, and everything's cool and welcome here, and gave me and my wife some pics and told us about this gig he was having in the afternoon. I was able to attend that, and I took the whole video of it, and he was like ecstatic to get the video footage, and he downloaded it today, and he asked me permission. He said, can we use this in our Gibson promo and stuff as long as we tag you in it and promote you? I said, yeah, absolutely. That's the least I could do. Go ahead, use it all, right? So it was great meeting him.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that brings up the other thing. Like, so let's talk about some of the people that we met. You know, like at the, not necessarily Gibson people, but just people in general. Like, I mean, you know, I'm trying to remember how many people I met and I ran into. Like, you know, Brian, you were mentioning earlier Phil McKnight. You know, I met Phil McKnight.
I met Phil and Steve from Boston. I met Hunter Agafish. Who else?
Robert Baker.
Robert Baker.
I miss Phil McKnight.
Guy, I can't. I think his first name's Brad, but I'm not positive. The guy that runs Reverend Guitars. I talked to him for a while. I'd never met him before. I'd seen him on videos and stuff, but he was super nice. Geez, the list goes on of people that we talked to. I mean,
everybody you could think of was there. Like, I met Rhett Shull and Rick Beato, Marty Schwartz.
Yeah, Rick Beato, Marty Schwartz. I forget both those guys.
And Ian Stitch from Stitch Method.
Yes, we talked to him for quite a while. He was super. He came over to talk to us.
Yeah.
You know what? Well, and you were saying like Bryan, like people who, you know, who knew who the hell you were. Like I freaked out when a couple of people knew who the hell I was, and you know, when we were sitting together, and Ian Stitch walks by, and I go, "Hey, Stitch, how's it going?" And he comes over, and then as soon as I said I'm a guitar hack, he's like, I know who you are. I was like, what? It's like,
yeah, right.
That kind of freaked me out. And it was the same thing when, like where you were saying, like, I don't know how the hell Al John Go knows, you know, you didn't like knew me as well. Like that kind of really, really threw me. Like, I'm like, wow, you know, this guy must have his finger on the pulse, man. Like,
I sent him both your links when we were doing the VIP thing.
Oh, okay.
Another package for you guys. I was like, trust me, Aljon, take care of these guys. They're good people. They're advocates for the brand. They're ambassadors for the brand. They won't do you wrong. And they're, you know, and I talked about Bryan with all the purchases he does and all the purchases that you do at Gibson. I mean, you couldn't be a better, you know, spokesperson for the brand.
Oh, okay.
You're even getting me in the Les Paul.
We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even sent some links to some of the better, you know, some of your bigger, you know, hangouts and all that kind of stuff as well too. So.
Oh,
Cool.
I had no idea that was even going on. So again, I thank you again, man. That was incredible. That was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. We owe you one, Eric.
Yeah, man, big time.
We'll have a beer.
We'll have a beer.
We'll do Cosmo again. Actually, no.
I owe Eric indirectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's get into that story. So, yeah, let's talk about that. So
we're outside at Namm on it's Thursday afternoon now, or early evening.
Yeah. So Eric again was and through all John was kind enough to get me a pass to the Gibson VIP event. And so once we were all wrapped up at Namm, we went back and then what I did was I wasn't sure how the whole VIP thing worked, right? So what I did was I noticed on the VIP pass there was no date. I may even have it here. There was no date or number or anything. It just said Gibson VIP, right? So I had my wife print off 2 of them, right? And then Bryan, I was talking to Bryan and he said, you know, well, I have 1 pass, but I have 1 and I'm going to say my wife is a guest. And then the bell went off in my head and I'm like, if I've got 2 passes, let me see if I can get Marty Stewart to come in as a guest. And it worked. So
and like they were like, yeah, we have 2 passes and a guest, and like, oh, okay, here you go. Here's 3 badges.
Yeah. And then, like, I'm like, thank God, you know, because I mean, he did so much, and I was like, man, I got to bring him to this VIP thing so he can check it out. And it was, oh man, well, Brian Cote, you could chime in. I'm gonna say, man, that was one of the best nights I ever had in my life. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'm more proud or more jealous of y'all.
The food
I was like, hey, what are you guys doing tonight? And you're like, oh, I got the VIP thing. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what, man, if I had 3 passes, if I had 3, I would have got you in as well, man.
If we'd have known, I bet we could have figured out how to
we probably could have got
you.
Well, Hack,
it's all good. It's all good.
Hack, you talked about.
I live vicarious through y'all, man. Y'all just did it. It was awesome.
Man, it was great too, because I don't know what I would have spent on dinner that night, and I ate good, didn't spend a penny.
Oh, you didn't do better than me, Brian, because I got a free Hard Rock Cafe steak.
Well, last year, Winter Namm, Junior and I had the same thing. Wednesday night at Winter Namm was the VIP for Gibson, so we were both going to be there. We're going to see the new products unveiled, have the dinner, all that kind of cool stuff. And you talk about everything going wrong for you going there. We left Detroit, Michigan in January, and it was 9 o'clock. I think we got to the airport. Actually, no, earlier than that. We were at the airport about 7 o'clock. The flight was supposed to be about 9. It was completely frozen, freezing rain. So the airport was completely froze over, and they closed the airport. We were getting reports saying that the flight to LA.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we were told the flight was canceled, and they were refunding our flights and everything. We're like, oh, great. And they were saying there was not another flight to Los Angeles until the next day. And we're like, oh, this is like, I mean, you're talking about a junior. You imagine like a 12-year-old at the time, with, almost to the point of tears. This is his first experience going there.
Right.
Long story short, the Gibson VIP event, the doors opened at 5 o'clock Pacific time there for that event. We didn't arrive until we were in the airport for 16 hours. And we eventually got another airline. We were able to hook another airline, and they opened it up. They were salting it. They had like probably 60 trucks on the runway. I've never seen it. I filmed a video of all these trucks on the runway, salting it, de-icing it. Got to Los Angeles at 2 o'clock Thursday morning, so we had to miss the entire VIP thing. It was a complete bust.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great at Summer Namm. I could only imagine what it would have been there, man.
Oh, it'd be stupid.
Yeah,
like I said,
really.
All Canadian city. It was that big. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was. I've heard it's 10 times the size because it's multiple floors of the convention center, right? Like where we were at, they had this little section was pro audio. Then it was mostly guitars over here, and then acoustic stuff over here, and then kind of around the fringes, they had like saxophones and guitar straps, and selling their little trinkets.
Very little drums, eh? Almost no drums.
Almost no.
Yeah,
drums.
that was good.
There was way more drums at Gear Fest.
Winter Namm had a lot,
right?
Yeah.
The thing is, at Gear Fest, you're only going to see what Sweetwater sells. If it's not a brand they sell, then it's not going to be there.
Right, of course.
Right.
But the biggest tent with the most guitars at Sweetwater at Gear Fest was PRS, and there was no PRS at Summer Namm, unless one of the manufacturers had brought it. I mean, there were a few in the building.
Yeah.
They were just because they were player demo guitars that people brought, but no display to look at.
JJ Collins has got a question. Guitar Hack, what was the one piece of gear that you guys saw that you feel was the best, or the one thing that you really wanted after the show?
I had two already. I'm hating myself.
Well, I think that kind of goes into a top 5 type of.
Yeah. Maybe we'll save that for later. We'll get into our top 5 guitars and stuff that really blew you away.
We're gonna make everybody wait for the bongo story until the end.
We'll make everybody wait for the bongo
story. You guys stick around to the end.
Well, you know what? Though? I won't wait till the end for the Joe Bonamassa because it begins with the Gibson VIP event. So I'm sitting there with Bryan and my wife Queen Bee and just enjoying it. Like, I mean, Bryan introduced me like to the America's oldest beer. Still can't say the name. Usling or something. Yingling. The beer was really good. So we're sitting there having that, some bourbons, and the food was amazing. And they had live music, and it's like, this is the best, right? And then was it you that found him first, or me, or whatever?
Came over and goes, Joe Bonamassa sitting right there, and you were like,
Bonamassa right behind you. I'm like, forget it.
This is what happened, Hack. Remember, I walked out of the washroom. You guys had just gotten there. I was there before you guys. I walked out of the washroom. The guy in front of me was wearing a baseball cap, and it was Joe Bonamassa, and I noticed him. And I looked around and said, oh, my God. Hey, Joe. And I shook his hand, and I walked across the little floor there, and you saw me. You said, Cote, and I looked over and I saw you, and then you came and saw me and said, where are you sitting and all that? And I said, Hack, I'm going to tell you something. Joe Bonamassa is right behind you. And you turned around and looked, and then you looked at me and you said, holy shit, I need a minute. And then you disappeared. You went right to him, I think.
Yeah, man. It's like, when is this ever going to happen again? No, I didn't hug him. So I walked up to him and I said, hey, Joe, I'm a big fan. Love your stuff. I saw you in Toronto last October, which actually we both did on separate nights, Brian. Yeah. And I shook his hand, and if you ever, for anyone that ever meets Joe Bonamassa and you want to shake his hand, he does not shake your hand. He just gives you the flat hand like this because he's got to protect his hand. Actually, I'm surprised he even shook, right? But he did, gave me his hand, and we did this. And then I took a picture of him, and he looked like a deer in the headlights. And it's like, okay, I'm never going to bother this guy again. Little did I know.
That's what you thought.
So you thought.
Little did I know. And then I went back to my table like, holy shit. But and then I went back to the bar, and there's Marty Stewart with Marty Schwartz. Sorry, I keep saying Marty Stewart. Marty Schwartz with Rick Beato, when they're shooting the shit. And I went over and I said to Marty Schwartz, man, I shook his hand. I said, buddy, you saved me so much time. I'm in a cover band. When I need to learn songs, I go to your, which is true, right? Because he shows you how to play a bunch of songs. And then I looked at Rick Beato. And I said, Rick Beato, man, I love your stuff too. But, man, you know what? I can't learn anything from you 30 seconds in, and you're over my head. And he started laughing. And then I took a picture with the two of them. They were having a good time. And there was, oh, man, who else was there? I saw Steve from Boston. Didn't speak to him there because I spoke to him earlier. And I heard Louis the Tone King was there too. But he was. The Tone King was the only YouTuber that I didn't see, like that I didn't run into.
Yeah, he was at the Gibson thing, and I met him on the Saturday morning at the Gibson booth, and I had about 20-minute talk with him. This guy was like I knew him forever. He was such a nice guy, and I'm glad I got a chance to meet him. Yeah, he's awesome.
That's very cool.
He was with his buddy Trushak.
Mm-hmm.
And his real name is Bryan as well. So there's so many Bryans walking around.
Three Bryans.
Yeah, I missed out on seeing Tone King also somehow.
Yeah. But they had I think they had a lot of great performers at that event. The only one that I'm sure there was everybody up there was famous, but the only one that I knew was Chris Isaak.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. We're all sitting there, and Chris Isaak comes out on stage to say, to welcome everybody, right? Beginning of the night. And I don't know Chris Isaak. Like, I know his songs and stuff, but I don't know. I run into him in a crowd. I never know who he is.
Right.
My wife's sitting next to me, and she's there. Holy shit, that's Chris Isaak. And he grabs the mic and says, "Hi, I'm Chris Isaak." And she's freaking out, and she's there. Why isn't anybody like jumping up? And because one of her favorite artists or so. I said, I don't know, maybe they're used to having these celebrities around or something, but she was ecstatic. And then he came out and did his songs there in the middle of the night. He did his famous, I guess, whatever it's called, or that song he does. And she was over the moon. So she said, I'm going to buy something nice for Eric for this one. So Eric, my wife's going to buy you something.
No, thank you.
There you go.
Not necessary.
Great. They had rotating, like musicians and singers kind of rotating through. They were all playing the same Gibson guitars.
Yeah.
They had
every model of Gibson
of everything that you could think. Like, they had extra guitar players on stage just so they could have like a Firebird and an ES335.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Band, all guitar players.
Yeah, man. Every model of Gibson was on that stage.
Yeah.
Every model
they jams, man. It was really good, and the food was obviously Gibson didn't make the food; they had it catered in, or maybe it was at the Wild Horse Saloon.
Yeah,
where which is, I've seen pictures of it before we went down there. I kind of Googled it. Usually they have country and Western type. They do the line dancing and all that. There was a dance floor underneath where a lot of our tables were located for so that we could be up closer to the stage. But that's the kind of stuff they normally do. It was fancy. And I don't know if you guys noticed. Did you notice there were horses on the ceiling?
Yes.
Hanging upside down?
Yes.
I picked that up.
You didn't notice that?
But do you know what? Those horses are actually on the floor when there's not a big event or something. They actually raise them up to the ceiling for the bigger events and stuff to get them out of the way. Because we had lunch there on Sunday, and they were doing the whole line dancing thing, and they had the same thing set up there for.
Wow.
So, it's a nice place, man. Really nice.
Yeah, and then
retractable horses.
Yeah.
Well, and what was cool too is like the whole. Well, Mark Ignazi was there again, and JC was sort of mingling with everybody. So it had a really nice vibe. You know what I mean? It was cool. And that's when I ran into Al John. Actually, I ran into Al John and his wife, and I introduced myself, and like same thing as you, Brian. He, knew who he was. Now we know how he knew who we were because of Eric.
Yeah.
And you know, and he was a very, very nice guy. I met his wife as well, and that was very, very cool. But that was over by 10, and then we walked Broadway. And if anybody has not been in Nashville, man, you got to go to Nashville.
That was crazy.
I'll drop in the chat right now. I'll John's in the chat.
Is he? Oh,
is he?
hey,
Al
hi,
John?
Al.
How's it going?
There he is.
Glad to see you. It was awesome to see you, Al John, at NAMM. Awesome. We're just talking about the Gibson VIP, man. Thank you so much for inviting myself and my wife. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Down there.
Yeah, we had a great time there.
That was awesome. And walking down the strip and seeing all the live music, you know, and the way they set it up is beautiful because all the bands are playing like up against the sidewalk, and they all got the windows open. So you can literally walk up to like any drummer and just tap him on the shoulder, right?
Hey, you don't even have to go inside to hear the music. You can just stand there on the sidewalk and check out different bands and
I know.
One bar is country and one bar is western and the next one's rock.
I like to go down through there and check out everybody's board. I'll go in the bar and like look because it's about at eye level, so you can just look and see what's on the guy's board. And,
right.
You know, kind of do a tally, say what's everybody using. It's cool.
Yeah. And the musicianship, I mean, my God, man. I don't think there's anybody that lives in Nashville that can't play music. You know, everybody's a musician and they're all good. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was born and raised there, so I didn't have a choice, you know.
So many bands in Nashville that you're not getting a gig on Broadway unless you're good, right? You're not getting in one of those bars if you're a crappy band because they got others to choose from, you know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody's trying to get in there. R2R3 is asking if I tried the Jared James Nichols Epiphone signature. No, I didn't, but I got video of it, and it looks amazing.
I tried that guitar, and
I played it, but I didn't play it through an amp. I mean, it played good, but I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't play it through an amp, so.
I played it through the little katana there and headphones, and that thing is an amazing instrument. I love that instrument.
Cool.
Oh, it's amazing. The neck feels awesome. That one P90, it just sounds really good. That's one guitar, and you know what? I think that's $699 retail. For that price, you're not going to get a better deal. That's insane.
Yeah.
The Duncan P90, you know.
ChickNGuitars is asking, is there any buskers? I didn't come across any buskers. Did you guys?
No.
I didn't come across any. But
Epiphones too.
Well, man,
the Epiphones were sweet. The double cuts, Kailyn. The double cuts are the ones I liked.
Yeah.
You guys check those out at all, the double cut.
Epiphones were great. I mean,
the signature models too, that Flying V and Lizzy, I don't know who.
Lizzy Hale.
The Lizzy Hale Explorer.
That's coming in the top 5 list for me.
That's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah.
There's already a black Lizzy Hale that's a Gibson model that's black with gold, and I believe that the one we saw was the new one that's the white one. That's the Epiphone, right? I think it came out last winter though. I think it came out at Winter NAMM.
Yeah, it's white and it's got gold, but on that one I'll let the gold pass.
It looks good. They had the white V with the red pick guard and the white kind of.
I don't know whose signature model that is. I can't think of the name of it.
It's not the Falcon, because there's another one called the Snow Falcon or something like that, but this is a different one. But I can't remember. It was also a signature model, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, They had some really, really amazing instruments.
Al John says it's Dave Rude.
There you go.
Dave Rude signature. That's right.
Yeah. And says, well, we'll get back to that night, but man, I found my dream guitar at NAMM. I found it.
Yes.
It was a custom shop in the back. It's that lemon burst R9, man. Holy shit. You know,
you're in the video with it, right?
And funny enough, I got into the video playing it.
Al John know about that?
Al John, you got a hack in your video. You might want to re-edit that.
The only thing that would have been better is it was on the second day and you were wearing the lime green
Yeah.
If your hack shirt, if you'd had your hack shirt on, it would have been like.
Oh yeah.
I promised Eric I was going to wear his colors one day I was there, and it turned out that was the day.
That was cool. So Eric, your shirt is in.
Yeah. Al John says the signature models also come with cases. So
there you
go. That's an awesome deal.
Oh, that's nice. On the Epiphones. That's an upgrade.
Yeah. But that, because it's that color, like Mark was saying, and Al John could correct me, there were 12 colors of R9s in the 60th anniversary, because that color is really hard to come by. You don't see a lot of them. You see a lot of the cherry bursts and that flavors thereof, but like a proper lemon burst, you don't really see a lot of them. So it was amazing to see it there, and of course it was promised.
It was really nice too. It was a good one. It was a good one.
Hey Hack, I wanna apologize, Hack, for crashing your video and marking Nazy. I really didn't mean to do that.
That was all right, man.
I did know. I saw you there, and I was like, "Oh, there's Hack Move." I hang around long enough, he'll be, done with Mark, and I can say hi to him. And then you started filming over where I was playing, and I was like, "Oh, well, here we go."
Yeah, well, I'll tell that story in a bit. That's a day 2 story. I'll tell you how that all happened. A lot of crap happened day 2. So.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was like, "Oh, this is great," but I was really just trying to hang around till you got done with him, and ended up in the video.
Yeah. It's like I'm walking around with them, like, hey, there's Matt. No worries, man.
All right.
And we made our way into Kid Rock's bar.
Oh, Kid Rock's bar, man.
That place was happening.
Yeah, what a place.
Floors. Yeah. That's great. And the stage was like multi-floors. You had the lead guy on one level, and then you had the rest of the band just above him. That was crazy, that place, man.
Right.
No, that was a good, definitely.
Yeah, I went there. I think I went there like four nights in a row. I think I was at that place. It's just insane.
It's
and
really
the bands sound amazing in that place. It's really cool.
Yeah, they're making a mint. Kid Rock's getting paid on that joint because it was packed in there too. Well, packed in there every night.
Well, that was a Thursday night, man, and it was packed. That whole friggin' strip was packed.
Well, you got to remember there was a music convention.
I was there Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I got in there Monday and it was packed.
Wow.
So, but it was cool. It was definitely worth checking out.
Welcome to Nashville. I mean, y'all saw the pedal taverns and the bachelorette parties and
tons of bachelorette parties.
I mean, it's for some reason it's just 24/7.
There were bachelorette parties riding around in buses, like that are converted to a party bus with the top cut off, and I had to visit the washroom while we were walking the strip. So I'm like, I'm gonna go in this bar and use the restroom. Well, I had to get stamped to get in there and everything. And I get in there, and the only thing that was happening in there was a bachelorette party. The only people that were in there, all women with a big bachelorette party. I was like, I might just stay in here. I'm the only guy in here.
You're probably thinking you're the stripper coming in.
Yeah, they're like, oh, strippers here. I'm like, nope, wrong guy.
The weird thing is,
we call them woo girls, because they always go woo.
Yeah, they were doing that. They were doing that.
The weird thing about Nashville is every bar I went into, I guess, well, you can answer this, Matt, but I guess there's a law. You got to show your ID.
Yes.
I'm like, I haven't shown my ID at a bar in like 30 years.
Well, it's just because there's, it's kind of a tourist area down there. So, everybody, they can't be too cautious, They can't let anybody under 18 or 21. Well, 21 most places can't let anybody under 21 in, so they have to be very cautious.
Funny story. While we're there on Broadway, even though we had all that free food, I was getting hungry because we'd been walking. I mean, I burnt some calories that day, didn't we? All did, right? How far did your thing say you walked, Cote? Like how many miles did you walk that day? Your little watch thing that tracks your exercise was beeping after you. Like, you're done, dude. Go take a break. It's time for nap.
I've never felt so old as I felt after day 1 and day 2 of Namm. My legs were just killing me. I was just like,
from all the standing and walking. So I went to get a hot dog. There was a lady out there, a hot dog vendor girl, right? We were standing there listening to music. One of the bars, air conditioning's blowing out their window. We're enjoying it. And I'm like, I'm going to get a dog. So I had three $20 bills, and she took each one of my 20s and like inspected them real close, and then picked out the one she wanted. She was like,
wow.
She's like, I've already got, but I've already taken some fake ones, and if I get caught with one, I got to pay for it. Not the hot dog, not the guy that owns the car. I got to pay for it.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I never had anybody like, want to sort through my money. See what money they want.
Just too glad it wasn't Canadian money.
Yeah, oh, wow, yeah. I told them not to whip that out any Canadian money. They might get deported.
Yeah.
I had a friggin' hard time with it. I don't know about you, Brian Cote, but I always have a hard time with U.S. money because it all looks the same.
It's all green. He was like, I can't make heads or tails.
I know, right?
You don't have to look with Canadian money. You just see the color and you know exactly what you have. Anyways, it's all color coded.
Yeah.
So the next day,
that's because y'all are smart. We're dumb.
If you don't know your numbers, it's all color coded.
Yeah, exactly. If we're numerically illiterate,
guitar with the colored numbers on the fretboard.
That's how we do math in Canada. We do math by colors, not by numbers. Green.
That's right.
Math by colors.
Yeah.
Well, the next day, we three of us decided that we were going to hit the vintage guitar stores, and I got a video coming out on that on Friday, and then we were going to go to Namm. That was a plan for the next day. So Brian, my wife was wiped out. She was like out. She drove all that the day before, and then spending the first day in Namm. She's like, I'm just going to stay in the room. So she stayed. So Brian came and picked me up, and then we thought Carter's opened at 10. But we get there and we find out it opens at 10:30. So then he's telling Brian, said, well, why don't you text Brian Cote and let him know? And I'm like starting to look for his number, and Brian Cote gets out of the Uber right beside us. No, wait a minute, I forgot. Wait a minute, when did we go to the Gibson tour? Was that before or after? And Brian Stewart's gone. I can't remember if we did.
It was on Friday morning. You guys did that.
Was it Friday morning? So we did the tour before we met you.
Yeah.
Is that how that went down? I can't even remember.
Yes.
I can't remember. So, yeah. well, let me just quickly talk about that because, and you tell me when you went on the tour as well, Brian. But I
went on the Wednesday. I did the tour on the Wednesday morning.
So we got, okay, now I remember. Yeah, that's right, because we tried to get there for 9 to get in there right away. And Brian comes to pick me up, and it's like, where is this place? And I didn't even look at the address, and I look up the address, and it turns out Gibson Custom was like 5 blocks from my hotel on the same street. So we literally got there like in 5 minutes. I was like, there it is. And then there's like 3 buildings. That whole plaza is Epiphone, I think Gibson USA, and Gibson Custom, and it's all in this one plaza. And there's absolutely very little to no signage to find Gibson Custom. Like we were driving around, we did a tour of the parking lot just trying to find the entrance to Gibson Custom. But as soon as you walk in, or as soon as you see the front door, in very, very small letters on the glass door, does it say Gibson Custom Shop. So again, I had just the one pass, right? So, we walked in and the guy comes out and says, are you guys vendors? And I'm like, no, but we were told.
No, that's not what he said. He said, do you guys own guitar stores?
Oh, you own a guitar store? Well, Fender, yeah.
Like, no.
No. And well, what do you? I said, well, we were, and then I said something like, well, they told us just to show up here and somebody was going to take us around. And then they scrambled a little bit, and this really nice dude comes out and says, all right, guys, put on your safety glasses, and then walked us through the whole plant. Could not shoot any video, though. That was the one thing. We were not allowed to shoot any video. But he took us through the whole plant. And when you see these people working in there, man, and you see how much goes into putting these things together, it's like, oh, man. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, man. The workmanship, like they got the CNC machines, drilling them out and shaping them, but you still got this massive block of wood with the maple, what do you call it, glued down to the mahogany. right? But still, there's so many processes that go on after that. Even the necks. A lot of that stuff is still done by hand. It's incredible, man.
There were only 3 machines that I saw. There's the machine that cuts the body, the rough shape of the body. There's the machine that cuts the necks. There's the machine that routes there's 4 machines. There's a machine that routes the holes for the electronics. Because when the bodies came out, I don't know if you noticed along the way, they didn't have the electronic routes in them, or the
CNC machine. Yeah,
there's a separate CNC machine down the road. The only other machine is the Plek machine. There's only 4 machines. Everything else was done by hand.
Yeah.
Every other step is done by a human being, a specialized person. You know, they're all luthiers. They could probably do every job, but they've got the best of the best of the people to do that job at the custom shop doing that job. That's why they're in there.
Everybody that's in that custom shop, it seems like they've got years of experience. So it's almost like they work up to being at the custom shop. Because the guy that took us around was there for 42 years.
Yeah.
And we asked him, like, where'd he been? He basically had been everywhere and done everything, right? You know,
at all the different. He'd been at Memphis and at Gibson USA, and
yeah. And one of the coolest things that I remember seeing, and I got a photo of it, is like the way they make, like, for the semi hollows. You remember when he showed us like that, just the curvature, how they make it?
How they press it, they moisten the wood and then put it in those presses to get the shape, the bow,
the arch. Yeah. Yeah, that was amazing, man. And you know, and then remember that lady we were talking with, this lady, and her job was just literally to scrape the excess paint that got on top of the
binding all day.
All day she does that.
Whole tool that she just, and she did, but there was 3 of them, and between the 3, I think they said the one lady did like 25 because she was queen, and the other 2 made up the difference to get to 60.
They only produced, I think, they were at 55 and trying to get to 60, or they were at 15 trying to, I can't remember.
They were at 55 trying to get to 60.
They were at 55.
I think if you just try to add it up in your head, I think maybe there were only 40 employees in there.
Yeah.
Not it. Because there's a couple of guys working the CNC machines. Well, there wasn't even anybody running the CNC machines. They weren't standing there. The machines were doing their thing. There was the guy putting the truss rods in the necks. There were the guys that were putting the fretboard on the necks and doing all that handwork, right? And then you had the guys putting the necks in the bodies, gluing them together.
Yeah, and I was asking about it, and here's something that I found out. So they use, in the custom shop, they use hide glue, right?
Yeah.
Which is animal-based glue to put the neck in. And then I said to the guy, I said, so what happens if you screw up? Like, is it a one-shot deal? Well, one of the reasons why they use the hide glue is they can heat it up and it loosens up, and then if they have to tweak it, they can.
That's cool.
They can adjust it.
Yeah, they can get a second shot at it. I don't think that happens often.
The body sandwich is glued with tight bond.
Yeah, that's carpenter's glue. Yeah,
but the neck is set in with the animal hide glue, which I think's made from horse hide. I'm pretty sure they still make it.
And then these guys are making all these different models, like you see, like, you know, like if we saw they're making a lot of Firebirds, or at least I saw a shitload of Firebird necks, right?
Neck, yeah.
And then, you know, and then I was saying to them, like, how the hell do you keep track, like, that neck with that? Because they're all going at the same time, right? You know, and you know, and the guy showed us on the computer, like, everything is tagged, right? So, you know, like you can know what the combination of that next guitar that you're putting together is. So everything is all, you know, all.
Plus, at a certain point, I noticed they had like masking tape down the fretboard. Starting at the top, there was a different code written all the way down the fretboard until it got all the way to the end. And then so basically the whole lineage of the guitar, what it was written out in like Sharpie on painter's tape on the guitar as well, so they could match it with what was said in the computer. This is the right guitar. Yeah.
And if anybody's bought a Gibson, you know that they now will include a photo of the guitar on the desk. Well, what they do at the custom shop, the guy showed us, they just got it like very recently. It was like a black cabinet, and now they hang the guitar in there, and they got cameras that do like a 360 3-dimensional photo of your guitar.
Wow. So
if you're getting a new Gibson custom shop now, that's what you're going to get with the guitar, is that photo. That's right. And then they showed us the plug machines. You know, the plug machine is only 15 minutes, eh? Done.
Yeah.
Once they put, it's like, you know, it's amazing.
Two of them going.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like the whole play, and then you see the fin, and then they got a separate paint shop that's sealed off. You know, where you see the guys just their guitars are hanging there, and the guys
were sitting there doing all the binding, putting the binding on the necks and the bodies. A couple of guys putting the necks into the bodies. There was probably 5 or 6 men and women that were doing the hand sanding to get the bodies ready to go to get their paint or whatever their finish was going to be.
Yeah, and when they're sanding, when they're doing the buffing at the end, the room is red, right?
Yeah.
But it's just wax, right? From all the different buffing wheels, right? And you see these guys just like go at it like nothing, right? And I was, you know, we were like, I mean, how easy is it to mess that up? Like, why isn't there a stack of like destroyed guitars?
Burn through the finish,
mess them up.
Yeah, you could burn right through. Just too much pressure on that wheel and run guitar and all that work these other people just did.
Yeah.
They're fixing it.
Yeah. I was really impressed. And they were super nice. Like, again, like they, you know, taking us through, letting us, we can take all the photos we want. We just couldn't shoot any video, but that was really, really cool. And we could have gone to the Epiphone and we could have gone to the Gibson USA, but once you've seen the custom shop, I don't think you need to see the rest of it.
Kind of spoiled.
Yeah.
And then we went to Carter's.
Yeah, then we went to Carter's and sat in the parking lot for a few minutes.
Yeah.
We got there early.
Turned out the vanilla.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that because I forgot about the custom shop. So we're sitting in the parking lot, and he was telling me to text Bryan, and then he steps out of an Uber right beside us. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, we got there early. We knew Bryan had talked about he was going to meet us there at, you know, and we thought you were walking from your hotel. And it was hotter, and it was already 95 degrees, right? And we were like, just text him or call him, find out where he's at, and we'll drive over there and get him so he doesn't have to walk. And literally, just as he's getting ready to do that, you stepped out of the Uber ride that you took over to the shop. You were right there. I'm like, they're not open. Jump in the AC, man.
Yeah, they
not open yet. We were all there 20 minutes early.
Then we went live from your car. That was a funny video. I finally,
it
was hilarious. Yeah. So, what'd you guys think of Carter's?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Totally awesome. It's almost overwhelming because you don't know where you're like, oh my God, where do I look next? Right.
Yeah, there's too much. And you're trying to be careful too, because some of this stuff was super expensive and it's right there in front of you to grab and do anything, right? It's crazy.
Well, yeah. And I went up and down the racks that they had. Just there was guitars there that you've never heard of, never seen. There was stuff there. I was like, what? And they were all cool though.
Yeah.
And some of them just hanging there on the rack, like you'd see over in the used section at Sam Ash, were $5,700 guitars. And I was like, it was unbelievable. They had a little bit of everything except a 59.
Yeah, we were on the hunt for 59s, and that was the first. And the guy said they sold 3 of them last week, so I couldn't
have any.
Get my hands on a 59. Yeah, I know. And then he's tried to sell us on a $35,000
58.
Yeah,
we all played the 58. I played it at least because I was like, I don't even want to touch this thing. It's $35,000, man. It was just hanging on the rack too. It was just hanging on
the rack.
We were like, can we play this? He's like, yeah, help yourselves. And I was like, can I get a cable? We just went in the amp room. I'm like, can I get a cable? He's like, yeah, grab a cable.
I mean, yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. Hey, Matt, did you go to any of the vintage guitar stores while you were there?
No, I did not. And,
when you lived there, you've probably been in all of them.
All the time.
Yeah, I've been to all of them. But I do have a pretty good store brewing.
We couldn't get upstairs.
We got time.
BB Maid said they've got them upstairs at Gruen's. We'll get to Gruen's in a minute, but we didn't get in upstairs at Gruen's.
They didn't like us.
No. No.
Well,
They're a little bit more standoffish at Gruen's than they were at Carter's or even at Rumble Seat.
Yeah, Carter's, they were handing us stuff. The guy was like, just here's another one. Here,
Yeah, here's a 58. Here's this. Here's that.
Yeah, he's just handing in the 3 pickup Les Paul, and then he handed the SG. It's like, you guys want to try these? It's like, oh.
63 SG, I think, maybe, or 63 SG, something like that. 63.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then they had that Telecaster or the Strat, I mean, from Sweet Home, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hanging in there.
They had the first electric guitar there or something.
The first one ever.
Yeah, they did.
1930 something.
Pre Les Paul electric guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that have a Floyd Rose?
That was pretty cool.
It was actually like a small scale guitar too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on my video that's coming out Friday. I got a video of it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I really like, and then the vintage amps, man. Holy shit, did they have a lot of vintage amps in that?
Yeah, cool stuff.
Really cool stuff, man. A lot of old Gibson stuff, and yeah, just very, very cool amps. And rooms for you to play. Like they had, was it 3 rooms? They had 2 or 3 rooms that you could go in with any guitar and just knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Well, guitars are the kind of thing people aren't going to buy for $35,000 if they can't try it out.
No.
Unless just wall hanger
In a quiet room.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But at one point I went and stood in the back corner and just took my thing and I said, I think we died and went to heaven. I said, I'm pretty sure this is what heaven looks like.
It was
Yeah,
totally
really.
nuts, man. It's totally crazy. So then from there we went to Gruen's, and there's a story in that. So we get to Gruen's, and we're getting out of the car, and who do we see getting out of a pick? Oh no, sorry,
that was on the way out.
We checked out Gruen's first.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy very nicely if he had any 59s, and he said no. And he didn't seem to want to, really give up. And
Elaborate.
it was like, I think that was the most disappointing of the 3 places we went for sure.
They had nice guitars. Bryan and I played relish guitars that we're never going to get. Where are you going to see a relish guitar at, Bryan?
All the relish.
I know, right?
The guitars we played that with the sandwich construction with the aluminum plate in the middle.
Yeah.
They had nice necks on those guitars.
They were great. Yeah.
They had the only guitar that I saw that tempted me to buy is still hanging in there because I just looked at it on their website today. I might have to make a phone call.
Joe Perry?
Yeah, because Bonamassa is like, he already gave us the tip on how to get it out of the thing.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they got that Joe Perry guitar hanging in there. It's not a custom shop, but it is a signature model.
Well, before we discard Gruen, I want to tell my little story about
Go for it.
Go for it.
That's cool. All right. Well, when I first started playing guitar, I was young, and just like most kids, you get into stuff and you don't stick with some stuff. So maybe your dad doesn't have much faith in you to stick with something, and that was kind of the deal with me. So when I started playing guitar, my dad was like, "Okay, we'll see how long this lasts." And of course, I was all in it. And he said, if you learn how to play 10 songs all the way through, I'll get you any guitar you want, within reason, of course. So I've been playing for about 1.5 years, 2 years, something like that. And I showed him. I had about 20 songs or something like that, and played them for him. He was like, "Okay, whatever." And then one Saturday out of the blue, he just picked me up and he said, "Okay, we're gonna go out and we're gonna find you what you want." So like, all right. So went all around Nashville, all the guitar stores and stuff, and finally went to Gruen's, which Gruen's used to be downtown on 4th Avenue. It used to be right there. I don't know if you know where Merchants is down there on 4th Avenue and Broadway. Right across the street from it was where Gruen's used to be. So we went in there and I played a bunch of guitars, and I finally found this Les Paul Special was like it's a reissue, which I still have, and I found that and got it, and you know, and they were totally cool. You know, they gave me a case for it, an aftermarket case. They gave us 2 T-shirts. You know, I mean, it was totally awesome, and you know, so I still have that guitar. So Growing kind of holds a special place in my heart.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Because of that, you know.
Very cool story.
And also, and then later, when I was looking for a good songwriter acoustic, I was playing Taylors and Martins and stuff like that. It was probably 2006, and I finally got down to between a Taylor and a Martin, and it was a Martin D15, which is an all mahogany guitar. Just sounds great, you know, really, really vocal, really loud and boomy. And I played the D15 at like Guitar Center and Sam Ash and stuff like that, and they were all like $800. And I went to Gruen, and it was still there on 4th Avenue, and they had a price on it, you know. And I said, hey, you know, what's your best bet on this guitar? And they said, well, this is a Martin D15. They said, we'll give it to you for $650 with a case. Yeah. And I was like, sold.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you know, I've got a very good experience with Gruen. I hold them very close to my heart. You know, they're just kind of a Nashville institution. I mean, Carter Vintage wasn't even around back then, you know, when I bought these guitars. But, you know, Carter Vintage has since become an institution, of course. But, you know, it's just they're kind of the original, and, you know, maybe they do seem a little, you know, highfalutin for most people, but back in the day, they were just you know, they were just the one place in Nashville where a regular guy could go to get a nice, you know, older guitar. You know,
right.
Yeah. Well, it all depends on who you run into when you walk in the store.
They weren't
working there that day.
They weren't rude or anything. I mean, they were accommodating. I mean, if there was anything in the showroom that we wanted to play or do anything, they had no problem with it. They didn't have any problem with us shooting video in there or anything like that. They were cool. It's just, you know, they could tell that we weren't buying a 59 that day. They weren't going to bust them out.
Yeah.
They weren't going out of their way for you.
No.
They weren't breaking Excalibur out of the plexiglass for you.
No.
Right.
No. They weren't going to do that.
So then when we're walking out, we see a pickup pull up and the doors open up, and who steps out of the pickup truck? Joe Bonamassa.
Joe.
No. I had no stairs. These guys are behind me, and I'm like, hey, Joe. It's like, oh, Bryan just ran into somebody he knows. He looks up, and it's like Joe Bonamassa again.
So there's Joe Bonamassa, and we're like, hey, Joe, don't even bother. They don't have any 59s. And I see that I guess I'm the only one that saw it. So I see Joe reach in his pocket, and he pulls out a wad of hundreds. And he puts them back in his pocket. I'm like, okay, Joe's going to buy something.
Yeah.
So they definitely got something set aside for Joe Bonamassa to walk in there and buy. And then we found out later what he actually bought, but that's another story. But yeah, that was cool. And then I shook his hand again. I'm like, hey, Joe, how's it going? I shook his hand, and then he did the limp hand thing again. Which I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So like that's twice now that we.
That limp wrist is why he's got that wad of $100 bill. So you ain't about
Yeah, you got that right.
A lot of guitar players are like that. Meeting Eddie Van Halen, when I met him a few times, they'll say, put your hand, like if it's a meet and greet kind of deal, you put your hand out. If he wants to shake your hand, put your hand out, he'll grab it.
Right.
It's almost like there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. Very light.
Well, relating to that, on Saturday, Brian Nutter and myself were standing there talking, and Rick Beato came by, and this is how I met Rick Beato, actually, and he had a brace on his hand, like on his thumb, and Brian said, hey, you know, are you okay? What's wrong with your thumb? And he said, well, it's just where I've been meeting people, and they've been squeezing my hand so hard.
Oh, geez.
Oh, man. Yeah, and, you know, you want to give somebody a firm handshake, but, you know, you never think that maybe they might, you know, maybe be a little frail or something. You know, Rick Beato, he is a little bit older, so who knows, you know, and it kind of made me feel bad for him, but you know, it kind of made me also think twice about giving somebody a real firm handshake when I meet.
Hey, I'm frail.
You know.
Yeah.
Stiff wind blows me over.
Yeah. So then from there we went to Rumble Seat, and that was your favorite place, Brian.
I don't know why I liked it. I just liked it because of the atmosphere more so than the gear. I mean, they had nice gear.
Same here.
We saw the 59, so we can't really knock it, even though it's 10 feet off the ground in plexiglass.
It was a plexiglass.
$275,000.
Yeah, $275,000. I was like, "Is it for sale?" He was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "How much?" He said $275. I'm like, "Okay," and he didn't offer to get it down and let us try it.
No.
You know, you should have said, what do I have to pay to get this thing out of the door today?
I should have said $235 just to like mess with him.
Yeah.
I knew what he meant. All he said was $275. He didn't have to add the 1,000 onto the end.
Yeah. I think it was you, Brian, that said it's like $20,000 just in sales tax.
That was 19. I figured it up on my phone on the calculator. I was like, it's $19,000 in sales.
Wow.
Oh, they had some beautiful. They had a Johnny Winter Firebird that I know you fell in love with.
Well, right off the bat, as soon as I walked. Well, the first thing I fell in love with is they had that big Australian sheepdog that tackled me when I walked in the front door.
Yeah.
For 5 minutes. And then they just had all these guitars sitting around this dog, and they had that Johnny Winter. It looked like an old, like Firebird, like an original, but it was actually a custom shop relic guitar.
Yeah.
And I went back later and pulled it up on their website and found out that it's a new guitar. That was a brand new guitar. It didn't look like it though, but
oh man,
wow,
the best relic jobs I've ever seen because it was convincing.
Yeah. Well, that Neil Young guitar then, was that a relic job as well?
No, that wasn't even a real guitar. I looked that one up and read about it too. Some guy in France made that. It's a replica down to the N3 that they bought that is for sale. But that thing weighed 15 pounds.
Yeah, I thought that was actually Neil Young's guitar, and I was like, wow, look, Neil Young's
replica, a handmade replica that somebody made.
Wow.
So it wasn't even a real Gibson. It was a counterfeit Gibson. It wasn't
interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I didn't find that out.
Queen Bee is here.
Hi, Queen Bee.
Queen Bee.
Brian. Stewart.
Hey, great. Hey, sister.
Make sure you speak Canadian.
I've been using my FM radio voice.
Oh, okay.
So
hey, Eric, thanks again.
No problem. My pleasure.
He was picking shit. He was loving it.
I know. You guys, you deserved it.
It was awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know that Hat could have had a whole lot more fun if he tried.
No.
Was there anything on the list you didn't check off?
I didn't get a picture with my Titan of 59 Les Paul. That was
you didn't get the hold. You didn't get the hold of 59. You got to see one. You just didn't get the hold.
I got to see. You know what though? I mean, everything else was so much other unexpected shit happened that's minor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minor. So then we went to back to Namm, and that's when I don't know about you guys, but like I hit the jackpot.
Well, yeah, that's when you got the big scoop.
I hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what happened there. So I wanted to shoot some. Actually, Eric, I wanted to shoot some stuff for you for Kramer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was asking around the Gibson booth, can somebody sort of take me on a tour and walk me down the Kramer? So I get a guy who works for Gibson describing, And I asked one person, and they said, "Well, we're not allowed to do that. It has to be a manager or something or other." And then I asked somebody else, and they kind of told me the same story. And they said, "Well, you should go talk," because they had two girls manning the Gibson booth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I spoke to them, and they're like, "Okay, we'll get somebody for you." And then next thing, I'm waiting around, and next thing, two guys show up with very concerned looks on their faces, like I was gonna. Like I was trying to break into the place or something. And they're like, "Oh, well, you're going to have to send an email to so-and-so at marketing and make an appointment and this and that because, it's the Gibson brand and all. Like it's getting like really. And I'm looking at these guys like, are you guys gonna toss me out of the building? Look like bouncers, right? And then I was like, holy shit, man! Like I just want one of you to walk me through the line and whatever, right? So, anyways, I said, okay, guys, don't worry about it, you know. And then I look over and Mark Ignisi's sitting down there. And I go again and say hello to Mark again. I say, hey, Mark, how's it going? I said, and then I thought, and then I don't know, something sparked in my head. I said, hey, Mark, can you do me a favor? He's like, well, what is it? What do you need? And I said, you know, I'd like to walk around and go, what do you want? I said, you know, can you walk me through and show me all the lines? And then I told him what happened. I said, I've asked a couple of people and, you know, they're telling me I got to talk to marketing, this and that. And he's like, no, man. It's like, let's do it right now. Cool. And next thing you know, there's Mark taking me every freaking, he hit well, first we hit, oh shit, I can't remember. I think we went Epiphone first, and then we did the acoustics, and then we did Kramer, and then we did custom shop. In all of about 8 to 10 minutes, he walked me through every single line. And I couldn't freaking believe it. Like, and I got to the end. I said, holy shit, man, you covered all of your every Gibson line in 10 minutes. And he says, yeah, I'm good at my job. You know, and it was amazing. That's how that happened. It had nothing, you know, it was just, I just asked them. Literally, that was it. Nobody was willing to help me. And I posed my, you know, dilemma to him, and he's like, hey, man, let's go.
Kind of want to stick up for those guys a little bit. I don't think that it's not that they weren't willing to help you. I think it's more like they probably weren't authorized to comment.
Yes. Yeah.
And it wasn't their job to help you, and they didn't want to get in trouble.
They want to get in trouble. No, nobody want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Personally, in my book, any ill will that Mark Ignisi got was totally gone when he did that. That's like his saving grace in the YouTube community, is doing Guitar Hacks live stream to go through all the new stuff.
Guy didn't know me from Adam and talked to me for 2 or 3 minutes and joked and laughed at my jokes. I thought it was cool. The only thing and I heard other people mention this too, it couldn't be hotter and humid. and he had a biker leather jacket on, man. I'm like, dude, you have to be. Of course, it was a little bit chilly in the convention center, but I'm like, man, you got to be ripping that off when you walk out, or you're just gonna pass out from heat stroke. But yeah, he was playing the part. He was looking cool. He had his Firebird t-shirt on and his biker jacket.
Yeah, well, that's his image, right?
That's his image.
But you know what? Yeah, man, and we'll talk about later on the thing we did at the bar. But you know, and that's what I said at the time. I said, you know what? If anybody's got, like, come on, man. Like, this guy, he didn't have to do that. Who the hell am I to do that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know? He didn't even ask you who the hell you were. He just did it.
No, I met him the day before. That was it.
But for like 2 minutes.
That was saving grace. That was, you know.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Man.
They're watching my cats in the background. My cats are 1 year old, so we got them both as kittens. So it's a boy and a girl, and they still at the age where they play. They're all watching my cats run up down the stairs because they're playing back here. Sarge and Blossom.
So, like, can we now? So that's basically the second day we went around and we checked out some more, and then I talked to Framus, and oh my god! So, but what guitars or what things did you guys see? And I'll start with Matt Harrison. What did you guys see that just absolutely you're like, man, this is amazing?
Oh,
well, highlights.
Are we doing top 5?
Oh, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. I want
to. All right. Do what now?
Pardon me?
We're going to do top 5 things that we saw that were amazing. That's what we're doing.
It's whatever impressed you the most.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do my top 5 just because.
All right, go for it.
Okay. Top 5. All right, number 5. Now, this is not a sexy thing, but it's something really cool that I was looking forward to, and I was able to buy actually at the show. And let me see if I can pull it out here. It's Music Nomad is one of my favorite brands for, like, you know, for guitar setup type tools and stuff. And they came out with a spammer wrench, which is kind of like the ESP wrench.
I love that brand.
Yeah, Music Nomad's great. You know, they got the little setup things. But the cool thing about it is it's got, well, you actually put it on, but, you know, it's one of those wrenches that you get off your, you know, your knobs with and stuff like that. But it comes with a 3M sticker that's actually a little rubber pad that goes on the bottom of it that you put on it that keeps from messing up the finish on your guitar when you unscrew the stuff. So, like I said, it's kind of like the ESP wrench, but that's number 5 on my list. I really like the Music Nomad sponsor. And it's cheap. Anybody out there who is doing guitar work, check it out. Get on their website. Really good stuff. I mean, they have a great nut lube called Tune It, and you know, they have a great guitar mat and a headstock holder. Just anything you want, Music Nomad's got it. Just go to their website if you want to work on guitars. It's great stuff. And then number 4, I'm saying is probably the Vola guitars. I got to play Robert Baker's guitar, and I was really surprised. You know, all I've heard about the Vola guitars is that the necks are huge, and I played Robert Baker's guitar, and it was great. I mean, I really liked the neck. I mean, I liked the huge neck. It was great. I mean, I have probably bigger hands, but it didn't bother me at all. I know I've heard a lot of people talking about how bad Vola guitars are and how big the necks are, but it really didn't bother me. And it was just like smooth bird's eye maple. It was really, really great. So number 4 for me is the Vola guitars. Number 3 was probably the Epiphone Lizzy Hale Explorer.
Wow.
Yes.
Sounds cool.
Epiphone Lizzy Hale Explorer. Go ahead.
The white one?
Yes, the white and gold.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I loved it. I picked it up and I played it, and I couldn't get enough of it. I mean, I like the pickups. I liked everything. I played it through I know it's hard to tell when you're playing through a modeling amp. It's kind of a little hard to tell my pickups, but you can tell when pickups suck through a modeling amp. That's for sure. So they sounded good through the modeling amp, through the Katana, and man, it played really smooth. I mean, I love, you know, I'm a Gibson guy anyway, but and I've been wanting to Explorer bad, and I haven't really played a lot of them, but man, that thing played great. I mean, it's like on my list. I'll put it on layaway if I have to. It's great. But and number 2 was probably, let's see. Number 2 was probably there was a Texas Toast guitar. I basically went up to him and I was like, "Hey, Matt, you know," let him know who I was and stuff. And I said, "Hey, what are you most proud of here at this booth?" And he put a guitar in my hands that was just amazing. It was pretty much his Hamer type guitar. It had a nice flame maple top. It was a single cut, but it looked kind of like almost like a Telly Les Paul mix, and it was amazing. I mean, it played great. Action was super low, and so check out Texas Toast Guitars if you haven't checked them out. If you have a chance, I know they're not available widely, but they were really good. And my number 1, I'm not trying to be a Gibson fanboy here, but my number 1 thing I played at the whole show was a Gibson custom double cut. When I went around the corner, and I'd seen them before, and I was so interested in them, I wanted to try one, but the only place you get them was like at CME. But they had them, and there was one that was like a charcoal quilt maple top with like black and gray, you know, quilt, and man, that thing played so good, and it really made me think, wow, maybe there's something to this whole custom thing, you know. Maybe it's not just a advertising hype. Maybe they are worth the money, you know. And that was pretty much my number one thing I played. And the smoothest and fastest thing I played was that double cut, Gibson double cut. So
cool.
That's it. That's what I got. I got some honorable mentions, but we'll go through that later. I'll let everybody else go through theirs.
All right. BC, Brian Cote, what about you?
I'd say number 5. There's 2 guitars that kind of go in that category for me. The Vola was one of them as well. I really enjoyed playing that guitar. It wasn't really the ones with they had another, I guess, model there that had not the real thick neck, but they had kind of an in between, not thin, but more like a 59 neck, and that one played really nice. I'd never tried a Vola guitar, but I was quite impressed with those, and the Eastman guitar as well. They had some really nice stuff, and they played really nice. The build on them was really impressive. So that would be my number 5, those 2. Number 4 was an interesting story about number 4 was on Saturday, I wanted to go back to the Yamaha booth to check out some the Helix stuff, because there was always a lot of people around it, and I never really got a chance to try it that well. So I walk around the Helix booth to go check out I wanted to check out the Line 6 and the new cabinet that they have, the 212 power cab. And as I'm walking around the corner, I told Elaine, let me go try this cab out, and I want to try to talk to one of the reps and ask some questions and stuff. I walk around the corner, and standing right in front of all these things that I wanted to try was Billy Sheehan. He's standing right there, and I'm like, oh my God, Billy, how are you? So, pleasure to meet you type thing. And he's standing right in front of these things. There's a lot of people waiting to talk to him, so I didn't really talk to him very long, but I got a chance to meet him. So that would be my number 4 product, is that Line 6 cabinet. I was quite impressed with it. I had tried the power cab before, just a single 12. It was okay, but I wasn't, it wasn't overwhelming. Like, didn't do that much for me. But this 212 really had more of a wide spectrum, and the sound was I don't know if it's the cabinet material might be different, or something different about it that sounded more like a real cab in the room type of thing. So I was really impressed with that.
Got it right there.
Number 3. Oh yeah, Eric did a full demo on it on Friday, right? So
that's cool.
So I'm really looking forward to getting one of those. I might actually get rid of my the Mesa 212 that I have here and go with that setup, because I was looking at getting a power amp for just run the Helix through the Mesa, but I'd probably just get the power cab at this point, because it'll do everything I need it to do. Number 3 is the new Gibson Acoustics. I was really impressed with those, and for the price and the construction of that guitar, it was really, really impressive. And they have 2 models. They have a standard and a studio model, and I think the studio is 900 and something, and the standard, which is just maybe some cosmetics on the neck board that are a little different, is I think 1100 or something. But for that price, it's a great acoustic guitar. The neck felt awesome on it, so I might be looking at getting one of those in the future, because I don't currently have an acoustic guitar, and I would like to have one in the studio. Number 2 is the Epiphone Jared Nichols model, the black Les Paul with that P90. That blew me away. I'd seen pictures of it and saw some reviews online, but I never thought it would be what it was. And actually picking it up and playing it was like, man, this thing is impressive. I really like it.
Placard, yeah, it says Blues
Power. The placard below the bridge, yeah. I played that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really impressed with that guitar. And my number 1 is a custom shop R6 gold top with P90s. I could not stop thinking about that guitar. I tried it at the show. I tried it at a Guitar Center on the Monday or Tuesday that I got there. We visited the Guitar Center, and they had one there, and I played that one. And I mean, if I had the money ready to go at that point, I was buying one there and bringing it home with me, because it just played amazing. The neck feels awesome, and so that's probably my next guitar is that R6 gold top with P90. So that would be my number 1.
Cool. Good list.
What about you, Brian?
Number 1, top 5 for me. Well, I'd have to say the top 5 thing that I saw at Summer NAMM was Guitar Hack playing a Variax guitar through a Helix.
You almost dropped it.
I never thought, I almost dropped it because the strap wasn't on right.
It's like you guys know, the Shuriken, the black one.
Never thought I'd see that. So it did rip a hole in the space-time continuum, so we survived. We survived through that.
Yes, we did.
So that was good. Number 4 was probably that Gibson Michael Clifford Melody Maker that they've got out, that double cut melody maker that's kind of like the rough black and red finish. That thing was pretty sweet. I've kind of had my eyes on those. I like that guitar. That he patterned that guitar after the original Joan Jett melody maker. And of course, now she's got another one, another guitar that's out. That's something. That's her new signature model. Yeah, but I like that guitar. Number 3, I think something that I'd never seen before is or those Serengeti guitars. A guitar carved out of a single piece of flame maple.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah.
Those were cool, and I liked the take he did on the shredder body shapes and the headstock, something original. Didn't copy anybody. In fact, he told me his father makes knives, and that's where he got the idea for the headstock, the one headstock that he had that was cool.
Right.
So I like those, and I came home and looked those up. I found out they have a neck through model and a bolt on model too. A little less expensive, obviously, if you like their design. Frameless guitars, all of them. Was my number 2, especially that one that we saw there at the end that the young man, showed us. Of course, it was a $9,000 guitar, but the one that had the 3D inlay in the whatever kind of, I don't know if that was spalted maple or whatever that was, what kind of wood it was, but that thing was crazy. But they were all nice guitars, all the frameless guitars. And there was something really funny. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but in front of every frameless guitar, they had a little placard that gave you the specs of the guitar and also the MSRP. And then down at the very bottom of it said, "Please remove your belt buckle." Did you see that?
I didn't see it.
Pointed it out. Yeah.
It did see it. And so I'm getting one of my videos when I'm going through the frameless and I'm looking at the little placard. It says it on every one, "Please remove your belt buckle." Of course, we had the whole running bit with the belt buckle. So that just
I know.
was funny.
Yeah.
And my number 1 guitar is in your little live chat video that we shot back there from the Gibson custom shop area. It was that Brian Ray SG Junior with the ebony block below the bridge and the hum canceling technology to go with the P90. That thing, and they called it, the finish was white fox hair or something like that. That thing was just,
that was a beautiful guitar.
Amazing guitar, beautiful guitar. So yeah, I'm having dreams about that one. I think it's probably it's probably as much as an R9, right? It's pretty expensive. SG.
I think, I think it's about 4,500.
Well, that's not too bad. That's used R9 money.
Did I tell you it was hum canceling too? Did I tell you that?
Yeah, it had hum canceling.
It's got another coil underneath the pick guard that you activate and then cancel out. Yeah.
Right. So you got your P90, but you get the sweetness of the P90 without the hum.
Yeah.
That was just as soon as I saw that thing, I was like, whoa, I just ran right to it, man. Just beelined right over there. So that was definitely my favorite guitar.
Yeah. I don't know if I haven't. Well, I know what my number 1 is, but the other ones I don't really. They're just guitars that I just stood out and liked. And the first one was that No, I'm kidding.
You shredded on the Variax, though.
Yeah, I know.
You started shredding on it.
Nah. I'll tell you which ones that really stood out. Right off the bat, the 5150 EVH guitar that I played. Well, it's on. Yeah, you filmed me playing the thing.
Yeah.
The Battleship Gray one.
Yeah,
that guitar was insane.
Yeah,
the neck on that was amazing. When I looked at the back and I saw that it was made in Mexico, I'm like, holy shit, this is a good guitar. Right?
That's a Eric's alley there.
That 5150 was amazing. That guitar stands out in my head. Even the other one that you handed me, that signature model. The
that Jackson?
Adrian
Smith model was amazing. Wait a ton.
Let me interrupt you for a second, Hack, because I want to clarify something, and Eric will know. Are the 5150 guitars, the necks on those are the same as on the Wolfgangs in the Stripe series?
No, they're a little different. Yeah, Stripe series, not like the Wolfgangs, though.
They're like the Stripe series necks. Okay.
Yeah, they're a little fat. They're more like a Sharp EMS a little bit.
That guitar.
And they also got the Wolfgang pickups in them.
Yeah, Wolfgang pickup.
Okay.
So they're going to sound just like a Wolfgang. Well,
Yeah. Unfortunately, these guitars are not the only. Well, my number one was the only one I was able to plug in, but I'm just going by feel and how they, how they resonate.
The neck feel, which was the Stripe series neck, which I had one of those, so I knew you would like that.
That 5150 was fantastic. The Vola guitar. There was a Vola guitar that I was playing. I think Brian Cote was with me when I was talking to Steve from Boston. That one I was playing.
Yeah.
The neck was just a little bit fat, but that thing sounded so good. That one, I was able to plug that one in. That thing sounded amazing. So there was a Vola guitar that sounded really, really good as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piss off a lot of people, but the Kiesel, holy shit! That
They're
Kiesel,
nice. There's nothing wrong with Kiesel guitars. They're super great guitars. And for the money for a custom order guitar,
I posted a picture with Bryan holding it, and I posted that picture. That particular guitar, the thing is, you don't know if you want to play that or hang it up on the wall as a furniture piece, man. Because it's stunning, right? But it felt so good, and it played really, really, really nice. Like, I'm still thinking about how well that guitar played. The Kiesel was phenomenal, right? And like you said with the Framus, any Framus,
mind blowing. They were all mind blowing.
Insane guitars, man. They felt so good. Those guitars were unbelievable. Like that's the other one. But for me, the number one surprise,
R9. Lemon Burst R9.
Dare to Dream. That's the guitar for me, man. That thing, I couldn't put it down.
You could liquefy a couple of those guitars sitting over there on that rack and afford an R9.
I got four of them. Probably all five of them will pay for it. But
you gotta find a used one.
Yeah, you have to find a pre-owned one.
Yeah, but that for me was my number one for sure. That was my number one. Yeah.
Plus, you're immortalized in Gibson video playing it now.
So I'm immortalized playing the guitar.
You have it. We know it's at the Guitar Center in Nashville. You should call them up.
Well, you know what the guy said?
It's used now. Pre-owned.
You got the serial number. We took a picture of the serial number.
And then just call them and they'll hold it for me.
It's used.
Yeah.
Spin it now. They sell it as brand new now. It's open box.
Open box. Everybody's played it. It's used now.
Should just say
all over it.
Say it's been viewed by 5,000 people. It's like it's been played by 5,000 people. So that's a really used guitar.
You can knock a few bucks off of that.
Yeah.
I can knock a couple of bucks off of that.
The best discount at all. Sell it to me in Canadian.
Oh yeah.
Take your dollars and make it Canadian instead of US. And
they're not going to do
that. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
They're not doing that.
All right, can we do our honorable mentions?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. All right, actually, some of these honorable mentions are maybe my favorite things, but not my favorite things, because like my top 5 is like stuff that I probably can't afford. So we'll just honorable mentions probably are more within my reach. So the first thing I got is the single pickup Kramers. The new Kramers with the single pump. Those were really fun.
Those were good,
yeah. But like I said before, the ones with the lock and trim were better than the ones without the lock and trim because without a lock and trim, the ones without the lock and trim that had a trim, they did not stay in tune very well. But that's to be expected, I guess. So the ones with lock and trim single puck Kramers with the banana headstock were great.
Eric, do you know what those are going to sell for?
The Brettas or the which ones?
Well, the single pickup versions.
I should know that it's on my video. Aljon came on the show quite some time ago and actually quoted all the U.S. retail.
I'll go back and find your video on it.
Yeah, I think it's listed in the description as well too. I don't want to false quote. They're very affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then actually on the same page, just like Hack said, the new 5150 EVH guitars, they played amazing, and I didn't play one through an amp because I mean they had the direct mount Wolfgang pups, so I'm sure they sounded great. But I mean, just the way the necks felt and the looks of them were just amazing. I mean, I really, really, really like those. I thought it was a great addition to the line, you know, and the fact they had the Rocket Red, you know, Charvel Rocket. I've been dying for a Charvel San Dimas in the Rocket Red, you know, HH. But now I think the EVH 5150 and Rocket Red has replaced that. So those are really great. And then, of course, it should probably be further up on my list than it is because I love these guitars. But the Charvel, the new DK24 2-point in HH guitars, the import version are amazing. You know, last summer, Namm, they came out with the DK24 2-point.
Matt, can I get you? People are having a hard time hearing you. Can you turn up your mic?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Is that a little better?
A little better.
Okay. So my next pick was the Charvel DK24 2-point humbucker guitar. Last year they came out with the HSH version of it, and I thought they looked great, but I'm not a big fan of HSH because the middle single coil pickup kind of gets in the way of my picking. So last year they had put out a HH version, but it was only a USA model, so it was kind of unattainable for your average player.
You're still a little bit low, Matt.
Oh, sorry.
Scream!
I can hear him okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've got him good here too.
Okay. Well, let me try and talk a little louder. Does that work?
All right, go for it.
All right. Like I said, the new Charvel DK24 2-point in humbucker was probably my next on my honorable mention list. And those are great. Everybody check them out if they come to your store. And the next thing was probably the I'm a big fan of delay and reverb pedal in one. So the new Fender reflecting pool delay and reverb was probably next on my list. I didn't get to play one because, like we said, the Fender booth is kind of a fortress or museum, you know. But it sounded really good in the Sweetwater video. And also there's a new distortion pedal that Bruce A. Nader did with Fender that's like the MGTLA, which has a distortion and a boost, which is supposed to be like a Sunset Strip type hair metal distortion, which sounded really good. So I think that's all I got for honorable mentions. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, one more. The biggest, probably the best thing I played with was the new Dunlop James Hetfield White Fang pick, which is
I got a handful of those.
Well, we got a bunch of them.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, me too.
The new James Hetfield Dunlop White Fang pick. It's got a wolf on it, and the one I like is the 1.14. That's what I always play is 1.14, and it's the wolf head is actually raised, and it's kind of like a grip, and
it's a good grip, yeah.
It's actually really, really good. So if anybody sees that in the stores or on Sweetwater, buy a few and give
Brian's
them a try.
got one.
Great.
There it is, right there. Yeah.
That's what I got.
So, Brian, everybody's dying to hear the bongo story. Should we tell the bongo story before we We're
Yeah,
going
we'll get ahead
on.
of time, but we can tell the. I mean, the bongo story is overblown.
Oh wait, yeah, wait before the bongo story. I have two things that I saw at the show that I thought, for as far as innovation, that were interesting that I haven't seen before, was the whole thing with these guitars that had multiple pickups in it. Remember those ones?
Yeah. Skyrock.
Yeah. So there's two companies that did this kind of weird thing with the pickups where you had a switch and you could switch it from a different type of pickup on, the bridge or the neck. And then the other one had kind of a circle that you just turned and you had a different pick. Yeah. Rotate. I did find out on Saturday how much that guitar cost. The ones that had those rotating pickups, $16,000.
The Gyrock
for that guitar
with the lever.
The lever one, or
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
no, the lever one.
The lever one.
That's called the Gyrock.
Yeah.
Like gyro CK, Gyrock. Like gyro rock.
Right.
Gyrock. That's what that. It's made by Wild Western Guitars or something like that. Wild West Guitars.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's in my video. I can't remember.
So I think it was 16,000. But those things are super heavy. Remember we picked those things up? They felt really, they're super heavy.
Freaking 6 pickups in them.
Yeah. All right. What's the bongo story?
Okay, so the bongo story. So I guess that was Friday night, right? Yeah, it was Friday night.
Friday night.
So Friday night, after we've bailed out of the second day of NAMM, which we haven't even got to yet. Well, we kind of touched on it. We did.
We talked about it.
Yeah. So we had found out through a mutual friend, Mr. Coombs, that Larry Mitchell was going to be playing at one of the kind of fancy rooms at one of the nice hotels in Nashville. It wasn't on his concert schedule or, on his website or anything like that, but I was able to confirm it. And so we decided to run up there to go check it out because you could get in for free if you had a NAMM badge. You didn't have to pay any kind of cover charge, right? So what time we get there at Hack? We got there a little bit late, 7:15 or something.
Yeah.
We were told it started at 7. And so we get in there, and there was a few places left to sit. Some of the guys we knew were already in there. We grabbed a couple of chairs up by the stage, and there was I don't know what you'd call, where they had jazz, fusion.
Fusion, yeah, blues, yeah. They're
blues,
really good.
Fusion band going on, bluesy music with no lyrics. But, I mean, they were all good. They were good musicians. They were jamming out. And we had a drink while we sat there and waited. And we saw Larry, got to talk to him for a minute, and then kind of found out that he wasn't going to be coming on until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Hack kind of had it in his mind that we needed to hit a cigar bar because they live in Canada, and he's a big fan of the cigar bar there. So anyway, we had that on our agenda anyway. We didn't really want to wait till 10 o'clock. So after the first band had gotten done, we went over and we were talking with Ben and Aaron, and I can't remember the other guy's name that was with them. There was a third guy.
Right.
And during the time we're standing there chatting, we're actually on our way out anyway. We're standing there chatting, and they had this one performer, and he had one bongo. And he's just doing his little bongo thing, and he's getting louder, and he's getting softer, and he's doing his little African bongo thing. And we're just sitting there talking, we're in a bar. It's a bar. And this lady comes stomping over. You're interrupting the bongo. I can't hear the bongo. I was polite about it. I was like, oh, sorry, guy. I really wanted to just say, so. But that was the bongo story. So, yeah, it got kind of.
Oh, my God.
We laughed about it on the way out.
So then
bongo needs more gain.
Bongo
needs a cowbell.
The highlight was from there. We went to the cigar bar.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there at the cigar bar.
Keep in mind, we already ran into Joe Bonamassa.
Guess who walks into the cigar bar and sits right beside us?
Not Joe.
Joe Bonamassa.
He's like, not these clowns again. Oh my God.
And we're shooting a live stream, right? Yeah. And Joe Bonamassa comes over and sits down. So right away, there's, hey, Joe.
I'm like, hey, Joe, you want to join us? He's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. So then we start talking to Joe. So Joe, what'd you buy today? You know, were there any 59s? No, you know. And then we're doing a live stream, but we're talking to Joe Bonamassa at the same time. So then we found out what he bought. He bought an Esquire.
Wow.
That's what he went there and bought. So yeah, we talked to him for a little bit. He was waiting for a buddy to show up. I'm sure he couldn't wait to get the hell away from us, though.
He was giving us advice on how to buy.
Yeah, that's right.
6-figure guitars and not pay sales tax and stuff. We were like,
yeah,
get them out of as soon as I sell my Ferrari when I get home, Joe, I'm gonna call you up and get that advice.
Turns out he's a regular at
that. A trucker hat, driving an old pickup, buying $275,000 guitars and just chucking them in the bed of the pickup truck and taking them home.
It's crazy that, and we were watching your live stream when that happened, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" He walks in again, and my wife types in because Hack's arm or something was getting tired, so my wife types in the chat to ask Joe to hold the phone.
Can you hold this phone?
He probably would too. He would.
Hold the phone. I'm like, I'm not holding the phone. I held the phone earlier today. My arm's still
Jesus.
asleep from
Joe would. That's the kind of guy he is.
You know, he was stuck because he was waiting for his buddy to show up, and he was sitting there by himself. And then he had to deal with us morons, right? We were drinking
again. But it wasn't like we were stalking him. He was following us.
He came following us.
We weren't following him. He was following us.
That's right. He was following us.
Stalking us is what it was.
You should have said one more time, so I'm gonna have to call security.
But he was friendly enough once he saw that we weren't like, you know, and then he started talking and stuff, and
yeah,
he was a nice enough guy. Then his partner showed up, and I found out that particular, he lives in Nashville, by the way.
Yeah.
And he just played the Ryman last night. Actually,
remember, we found out later because we were in that cigar bar for quite a while that he's a member of the club.
Yeah, he's a member. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was nobody in there. We were like, I felt like me and Hack were the only two people in there that knew who he was.
Nobody knew who the hell he was. It's like, do you realize who this guy is?
They didn't give a shit because he's in there all the time anyway, right? They'd already talked to him. But yeah, it was like nobody even noticed it. He walked in. We're like, Africa Joe Bonamassa sitting next to us. Oh my God. Everybody else was like, who?
We're telling the guy buying the cigars off him. I go, you guys realize you have like one of the greatest blues guitar players in the world in this building right now. I was like, yeah, where is he? Holy shit. Really? Nobody knows Joe.
Which guy?
Yeah, which guy? Yeah, exactly. That was a Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah, right.
Well, folks, we've been going on for over 2 hours. So any we still got 58 people in here.
Wow.
And somebody was asking me earlier if Schecter Guitars was there. They were not. I did not see Schecter.
They weren't there. Ibanez.
I didn't see them.
To try AZ Prestige models of Ibanez guitars really bad, and that was the only thing I didn't get to. I didn't try the Vola guitars. Right. I don't know how I stood there and talked to Robert Baker and Steve from Boston both for about 20 minutes and didn't manage to pick up one single guitar out of that booth because they were all cool to look at.
Yeah, Sir wasn't there either.
No.
PRS wasn't there.
Sir has a big winter NAMM display, huge.
GNL wasn't there.
Yeah, no GNL. Yeah.
No, GNL was there.
Oh, were they?
Where?
Yes, they had a very small booth over by the TV Jones pickup booth.
I never saw it.
I totally missed that.
It was a small booth.
All right, you guys, I've been ignoring the chat, and I apologize.
Why don't you see if they got questions? Why don't you do see if anybody in the chat just.
I was just going to do that. Yeah, I was saying I'm ignoring the chat, but now that we kind of went around and trying to pay attention to everybody here, but now I am looking at the chat. So if anybody's got any NAMM questions, we got a lot of people here who've been to NAMM that can answer them. So just keep an eye out now. Please tag me so I can see it. I'm looking at the chat right now. If you've got any questions or anything you want to ask about NAMM.
I have a question for Eric.
There you go. Yeah,
Eric.
shoot.
Sure.
So when I went to NAMM and you see all these like smaller builders or companies that you don't really see a lot in anywhere, what struck me was, will these companies be around next year? Like, who's buying these guitars that are, maybe
retailer
multiple thousands of dollars, like specialty things like that one? What was the one, the Bryan Stewart you were talking about, that one piece
guitar, the Serengeti guitar?
Yeah, like you got to wonder how they're making money. Like, are they in business?
Well, that too. Plus, these booths are very, very expensive. Obviously, a little cheaper at Summer NAMM than it is Winter NAMM. But a lot of times, what will happen is several of these companies will piggyback on other companies. They'll get like a booth with three different vendors to kind of offset some of those costs.
That's what Friedman and Wampler normally do.
Yeah, they'll share the space, right? Or you'll get like like a guitar polish company and a guitar company. Those it's two totally different things, but they'll kind of cross market and things like that as well too. They'll pick up.
Getty was sharing a booth with that Italian guitar brand that were all carbon fiber, including the necks. And I can't remember the name. And I was talking to that guy about it, and I was like, "Are you going to be able to sell these? Are you selling to vendors?" And they were doing all online only business. Their goal was to be an online, like Kiesel. In the same way, you don't go to Guitar Center to get a Kiesel. So those companies are there to get exposure more so than to sell their stock to retailers.
And they're also looking for certain artists too. They'll put a couple of flagship artists on the roster, and then those guys or girls will also help sales as well too. Like Ormsby is a good example. Now Ormsby's work with a lot of different people, but they're still small enough not to be like everywhere, but they're big enough that they're working with certain people. Like Rusty Cooley just went over to him, and that's a big draw for a company like that.
I got two questions here. Right. Jack Daniels is asking, what did Joe Bonamassa buy? He bought an Esquire.
Yeah.
Braxel is asking me, what did you think about the R9? Okay, and I know why, because he keeps breaking my to buy one. Yes, Braxel, I like the R9. Okay, yes, I do. Hugh Cole, did you check out CMG Guitars? No, never, did not come across CMG. No. Dave Byron is asking, hey, Guitar Hack, if we don't go to Rome, Italy to gig next year, not a bad gig. If you guys go next year, we'll see you there and guarantee an unforgettable jam session with you all.
That would have been fun. If we'd have had all two guitars down there one night, we could have gotten somebody's hotel room and blew the place up.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been cool. All right. Any other questions out there, folks? There's still 56 of you in here. You know what? While you're thinking of questions, let me just take this moment to do my regular speech. Got a fantastic community here. You guys absolutely rock. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel. Ladybug has been throwing in links to everyone's channel that's in here. Actually, Matt, I don't have the link for your channel, but I'll get that and I'll throw it in here later on.
10-4.
Yeah, so let's all sub each other. Let's keep the community growing. It's because of you folks that I was able to go to NAMM, so I got to thank you for that. For those of you that have been buying my T-shirts and helping me out with PayPal, you guys have no idea. You helped me out a lot, so very much in trying to finance that. So I really appreciate that. And if you want to support the channel, again, I got links below. I got Hack merch and I got a PayPal as well. Much appreciated. That would very much help because the bills are starting to come in. I really appreciate that.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's my speech. We got some more questions coming in.
Can I comment on Brian's question about the boutique builders and with the expensive guitars? And
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Well, one thing I found, especially in the U.S., there are a lot of really, boutique type guitar stores. Think about Wildwood Guitars. We all see the videos online with Greg Koch. They're one of them. They sell $13,000 guitars every day. But a good example of that is a guy that I had talked to. He's an amp builder who builds Puritan amps. He actually made a deal over Summer NAMM with a guitar store in Florida that sells vintage guitars, and that's all they sell. And they wanted a vintage type hand wired amp that could go with the vintage guitars that they sell, and they made a deal with him to get some guitars. So, people are buying these guitars. These expensive guitars, the same people that buy these. I mean, there's a big market in the U.S. Now, I would just surprise as a lot of y'all with it because it's not in my, tax bracket to buy these guitars. But you know, in the higher end areas, there are these stores that cater to these clientele. So there is a big demand for it, not just Joe Bonamassa, you know.
True.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Still playing a Serengeti guitar. It just didn't.
No.
Did you guys, Brad Miller's asking me if I saw his friends from Electric Guitars. I did not. Did you guys remember seeing Electric Guitars there?
Missed it.
No.
I don't know how. There was stuff that when we went back on day 2, I thought I'd seen everything, and I saw, oh, hey, how did I not see that
Yeah, we
yesterday?
missed Freemus completely the
There was
first.
stuff we missed. Yeah, how did we miss that Freemus?
I don't know how we missed Freemus.
First day when it was right in the freaking main aisle.
Middle.
Yeah.
When you guys do NAMM, you'll be looking back and people will ask you that same question. They'll say, "Did you see so and so?" You're going to say, "Oh no, I didn't." You're going to look and say, "Oh yeah, I filmed it." You're not even going to remember it because you saw so much.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I have.
The thing is, your head gets spinning after a while. You don't know which direction to look next.
Exactly.
So yeah, I've got a not my NAMM videos already. My videos at NAMM are already out. I think I got a Fender one coming out, and then I've got the one that is really cool is the one that when we went to all the vintage stores. So I got that video
Fender
coming.
one about 30 seconds long.
What's that?
The Fender one about 30 seconds long.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe
look, there's guitars we can't touch.
30
Moving on.
35 seconds.
35 seconds.
But the one at the vintage one though, that's a long video because I pulled all 3 together. It's like a vintage guitar tour, so to speak.
I just have one more I'm putting out, and it's everything we did that was outside of NAMM. So
yeah, basically
all the fun things we did that were not the guitar shops, not NAMM, just all the other stuff that we did.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that one day when we hit the 3 stores.
Yeah. Well, I already put that
was
one.
fun.
I put my our guitar shop tour. I put that out earlier today.
Yeah, I know, but mine is like that.
That's my one going out too.
It's a lot longer than
Yeah, mine
a
was
lot of video.
Yeah.
I took a lot of video. Yeah. All right. I don't see any more questions coming up. So, any last words, Bryan Stewart? Just go right to left on my
Well, I didn't give my honorable mention, but this really should have been #1 on my main list. And the best thing for me at Summer NAMM was getting to hang out with you and Brian Cote and Matt and meeting Phil and all the other YouTuber guys and finding out that you guys are all just like in real person, like you are on your YouTube channels and your videos that I watch. So that was really cool. And we had a really fun time together. So I hope we get to all hook up again. Hopefully, maybe we can do Gear Fest next year. It's a little bit closer, a little less expensive, and you can actually buy stuff there and at a deal, get a discount, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
We just have to figure a way to smuggle it back across the board. We'll just canoe it across Lake Erie, and I'll just chuck it on the beach and canoe my ass back, and you just guys be there.
No worries. I'll call my buddy Joe. He's got a way around these
things.
Yeah.
I'll just meet you out. We'll just pretend
got a boat.
walleye fishing, and I'll just meet you out in the middle of Lake Erie, and we'll just chug it over. Coast Guard will think we're like smuggling cocaine in Canada. No, it's an online. Don't shoot.
My big, my final thing was pretty much meeting you guys was awesome. You know, Hack, you were too cool. Bryan, of course, you always been cool with me, man. Been a big supporter of each other. You know, you and I, and Phil McKnight's chats and stuff.
We're the bad guys on Phil McKnight's chat. If you mess around, we bring the hammer down.
That's right. We will mess you up, buddy.
We will.
But, Brian Cote, man, you're just too nice. You're great. You actually made me feel guilty for not being in your chats as much as I should be. But
oh, don't feel guilty.
No, you're a great guy, man. And Hack, I can't thank you enough for letting me be a part of this. You're awesome.
Buddy, you were there, man.
You know, yeah, I think a couple things I didn't mention was seeing Andy Wood play. I saw him last year too and videotaped him. Actually, I got video on my channel of him from last year playing at the Wampler booth. And this year too, I haven't uploaded it yet. But Andy Wood, I know it might not be everybody's style, but Andy Wood is just a phenomenal player. If nobody's seen him play. Yeah,
the guy that travels with Wampler and demos to pedals.
No,
he's He's
with
he
Sir.
does country.
Oh, he's the
he's
guy
a
with
Sir.
the Sir Telecaster. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
He's
got the 24 fret
Those
telly.
Telecaster or those T. They're not Telecasters because they're Sirs. Those T model Sirs are sweet.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
They
He's
are.
got a 24
I know who you're
fret
talking
telly.
about now.
Yeah, Andy Wood. I'll be uploading some stuff to my channel, so if anybody wants to subscribe, I'll be uploading.
I didn't know he was there. How'd I miss that?
Well, you should. Well, you were doing Gibson stuff, so
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
regret. I wish I'd been doing your stuff rather than watching Andy Wood, but but anyways, Andy Wood, watching him play was great. And my biggest thing that happened, and I'm just going to put this out there, Robert Baker subscribed to my channel. So that's it.
Awesome.
Now
Hey,
you're
Robert
big time.
yeah, so I
congratulations, man.
Yes, I think I got a W there. Robert Baker actually, when I first started going to this community we got here, which is amazing, which I love, everybody, we all rock. Everybody should, pat yourself on the back for this community because it's amazing. But when I first came to it, Robert Baker's lesson videos really busted my 10-year playing rut. I was in a rut for a long time. I've been playing since I was 14 years old, but I was in a big rut, and his videos really busted my rut. And meeting him and, just talking to him and letting him know that, and, on top of that, he subscribed to my channel. It was just great,
That's
so
Cool.
not trying to fanboy out, but, I just think I want everybody to understand what a great thing we got here and how we just all need to stay positive and encourage each other and just, keep it going because it's a great thing. This is where the guitar community is on YouTube. So we all just don't need to take it for granted and just, really just keep it going and let's just all support each other and just keep it rocking. All right.
Man. Couldn't set up guys.
Absolutely.
Amen to that.
Well said.
All right, Brian Cote, last things you want to mention, promote?
Yeah, I think for me it was meeting the people that I've met and hanging out with you guys was that was a highlight for me. Just when you think back just a year ago when I even started doing YouTube on a regular basis, I didn't know any of you, and now I walk into this place where all you guys are, and I feel like I've already met you guys and hung out with you guys and don't even know you, and you feel that comfort level, which is pretty amazing to have that feeling through just doing these types of community things that we're doing together. And I look forward to doing more like Gear Fest and other stuff. I'm really looking forward to that. And like my wife said, she was part of it too, and she felt she's not even in this stuff and not into guitars and everything, and she felt very special and felt the community was really vibrant and people really respected each other no matter what level you were on. So to me, that was a huge thing, and I'm really looking forward to future events with everybody to do some stuff with. Yeah, I think though if I hung out with Marty Stewart too long, I'd get in trouble. So I have to be careful with that.
I'm a bad influence.
Yeah,
A bad influence. Yeah.
Eric, back to Canada with a southern accent.
Oh God.
I'm
yeah.
Eric.
Yeah, so I'm just happy to be here. It's an honor. I was so happy for you. I was living through you as well too. We're going to be there next year. We're coming down in an RV, so we're going to be picking up a lot of people going to Summer Namm.
Road trip.
Namm Caravan.
Yeah, we're going to do the three of us here, Nocturnal, myself, and Eric Jr. Eric Jr. is doing more video stuff than I am now. He was, the voice at Namm last year for some things. And then, of course, we'll be doing Winter Namm as a family as well, too. We'll be in Anaheim for the week as well, too. But I'm happy for all you guys. You had a great time. And, because, I had an opportunity to help a little bit this year for some of the Gibson stuff. It was a real pleasure, and you deserved it. It's like if you want to do something for someone, make sure you do it for someone who will deserve it and enjoy it and never forget it, lasting memory. So it was a warm, fuzzy feeling back here for while you were down there as well too.
You did that, Rick.
Awesome.
You definitely made Hack's life. You checked off several bucket list items.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Bucket list stuff was checked off.
I think I would have just for getting me into the Les Paul.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you guys know I have a lot of guitars, and I had that guitar for about a week. It's a used 2010 traditional, and it had to go in for nut surgery, just like I did a few years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to say that. Too much information. But anyways, it was in a lot longer than I was. I was out back to work the next day. But I was inconsolable for a week. I mean, I played a couple of the guitars, and like I remember talking to the guy because like I can do a lot of things on guitar, but I can't do a new nut. It was a new bone nut put in.
Right.
I'm calling the dealer. I'm like, is it back yet? He's like, dude, how many guitars do you have? I'm like, hey,
only one Les Paul, dude.
The Gibson dealer. I'm like, dude, you should know what this is like, you know? And oh my God. So it's, I'm hooked, man. So I've already got my next one picked out, a Les Paul custom, you know, Alpine white gold, ebony fretboard. But yeah, cool. So there you go. I'm just, that's my payback to Hack, I guess.
See what you did, Hack. You created a monster.
And Bryan Cote too. They were putting, they were like dealing.
I saw the video where they forced that Les Paul on you, and look what happened.
Yeah, I know. And
you're walking home.
I didn't back away from it. I was because there's a couple guitars they gave me, and I was looking at the price tag on them, and for the price tag that was on these guitars where we played them, they should have played like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And they played like $100 Amazon guitar. Mm-hmm. They put the Les Paul in my hand, and I'm like, And you know, I was out of my comfort zone. I'll have to admit.
Yeah.
But I didn't balk away from it, right?
No, and I have video of it.
No,
I've seen the video.
So I love it. It's back there. It's my baby right now. It's number. I don't want to say this on video. Well, I'll say it. It's my number one.
Woo! Wow.
Nice.
It's number one.
Did you guys get this? Somebody download this and keep it for posterity.
Junior took a picture of me. This is not a lie. Before it went in for nut surgery, I had to spend some time with it, and I fell asleep with it. I did. I fell asleep with it on the couch. It's not a picture. I would have posted it, but I fell asleep with it, and we had a bonding moment.
Oh my God!
Oh,
It's my number one, but I've never slept with it. I don't know. My Cali might be my number one now. They're kind of close.
Well, I just want to thank all you guys, man. I want to thank Eric. God, I'm gonna get misty. What you did for me was amazing.
You're my friend.
In on it, and I still thank you.
You guys are my friends.
I want to thank Bryan for saving my ass that first day, taking me everywhere I needed to go. That was amazing. All you guys, 3 best days of my freaking life. Awesome.
Cool.
You'll never forget. You won't.
Don't
forget Elvis.
Hey,
Graceland was a waste of time.
You got to drive by Elvis's house for $60.
Yeah. Don't go to Elvis's house. It's a waste of time. All right, folks, we'll let you go. We've been going on for like 2.5 hours. You guys absolutely rock, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, Al.
This is the no bongo zone.